But for those people, like, that is, at that time, is home. And it made me really ponder and think about this idea of what home means. What does a residence mean? What does a house mean? And how there are a lot of people who go back to their place of residence and they don't feel like home all the time. There's not a lot of love there. There's not a lot of community there. So it might not even be a place sometimes. It might be some people that you are around. It might be something that you're carrying with you in some ways, right? And so it forced me to think about this idea of home. And I think even more so in this last year, when a lot of us have had to be sheltering at home. I mean, no one in Atlanta did this because we apparently didn't think the virus was real. But regardless, the idea, though, was, to shelter at home. I think we did it for like a week and a half. But regardless, a lot of people, they couldn't wrestle. They had to wrestle with that, like staying in that place. And I think that it's really important for us to examine where it is that we find community, where it is that we find belonging. And so this piece deals with this idea of houseless. And I say houseless individuals because just because you do not have a place of residence or a covering over your place does not mean that you are without a home. So that is my family ties, moral session, sha-na-na-na, all of that. And I think we're going to try to figure out this next song. Cool? Cool. Yeah. Curb appeal. Hey. For all the nameless and faceless, forgotten. Be as it may, home of the castaway, the city whispers, we fast and pray. A sinner's Saturday, the saints of the latter day. From the fabulous Fox, we're like a block away. Cortland and Pine, where misfortunes align. The great disparity between your portion and mine. Such a morbid decline, but of course with the time that passes, it has to start warping our mind. This familiar ugly, the foreign beauty. Amidst these red line neighborhoods, you'll find a ruby. There is hidden gems in plain sight in this vicious world. Rufus Wainwright, limboing the poverty line. Your life can become a crime. Panhandle for dollar signs. Feeding me can get you fined. Medicate with free base, dank and some kind of wine. Missing rungs on that ladder to success that they want us to climb. Hey, hey, yeah. Scripture says, foxes have holes, birds have nests. The Son of Man has no place where he can rest. Foxes have holes, birds have nests. The Son of Man has no place where he can rest. I'm like, foxes have holes, birds have nests. The Son of Man has no place where he can rest. Foxes have holes, birds have nests. The Son of Man. We all say, I don't do handouts, I do not carry cash. I'll get you next time. This is all I have. All those declines to help, they ring hella hollow. A hungry belly with only pride to swallow. Pebbles on the street leave impressions on my cheek. Today's newspapers serve as tonight's bed sheet. I'm trying to make ends meet, locked in a dead heat. A survival, but yet I'm racing with these lead feet. But it is just as well. The streets of Pratt and Bell, prior to heaven, but after hell, poverty's paradise. The vagrant Valhalla, somewhere between the Inshallah and the Yard Father. The park is my kitchen, my living room's a bridge. My bed is a bench and the trash can is my fridge. Midtown, 4th Ward, Southwest, too strong. The scabs of the city been picked at for too long. Foxes have holes, birds have nests. The Son of Man has no place where he can rest. Foxes have holes and birds have nests. The Son of Man has no place where he can rest. Foxes have holes and birds have nests. The Son of Man has no place where he can rest.
handle it the right way with my team and go forward together with the plan. So, obviously I'm not able to be present there today, but that doesn't mean that I'm putting any limits on the future of me being able to join the team. And I just want to keep it that way.
Back is definitely, against the wall. But I'm just going to keep fighting for what I believe, and whether it's one thing or another, get the vaccination or not get a vaccination, who knows? I'm just going to, keep fighting for what I believe, and what I believe is right. What's right to one person isn't right to the other, vice versa.
I've made my position clear on the importance of the COVID-19 vaccine on many occasions. From the perspective of personal health, public health, even from the perspective of doing what needs to be done to win a championship. But fine, if you don't want to hear from me on it anymore, and if you don't want to hear from damn near 100% of doctors and scientists and epidemiologists either, then how about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? How about that? Does that work for you? Yesterday, Kareem on CNN with Don Lemon said, quote, the NBA should insist that all players and staff are vaccinated or remove them from the team. There is no room for players who are willing to risk the health and lives of their teammates, the staff, and the fans simply because they are unable to grasp the seriousness of the situation or do the necessary research. End quote. So, we're going to question Kareem Abdul-Jabbar too? You going to get at him now? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, really? A man who is about as unimpeachable as they come? A 6-time champion, not counting his titles in college, a 6-time league MVP, the NBA's all-time leading scorer, a man who was and remains at the forefront of civil rights, a man whose intelligence has always been respected, just as much as his game. We're going to get at Kareem now, huh? You really think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, of all people, is going to be advocating for NBA players who are primarily black, to do something that is unsafe or could actually harm them? You really think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would do that, huh? Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't a privacy issue. Players need to stop saying it's private. I'm sick of it. Just admit you didn't get the jab. Admit you haven't done any damn research. You've had almost 2 years now. 2 years. What's the hold up? Acting like you're in a damn lab somewhere. You're on a text chain with other teammates who also are not epidemiologists, sharing what can only be deduced as utter nonsense. But that's just me. That's just me saying that. You know what? I said I'd trade you. I'd trade an unvaccinated player right now. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar said y'all should be out of the league, removed from your team or any other team. Kareem said that. Y'all might want to think on that and then consider when it's ever been right to be on the opposite side of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium.
I think that's a great way for us to come in a little bit there. Great way to come in here. What's
yeah.
It is Tuesday night, so y'all know what time it is. It's Classic Conversations with JT and Lo. More like 9-ish instead of 8:30-ish tonight.
No comment.
Yeah, make sure that y'all give us a telephone call with this conversation tonight, 404-500-1605.
That's 404-500-1605. While I get his mic straight. You good?
Check. There we go.
There you go.
All right, let me start this thing over. Yeah, that's a great way for us to come in, man. That's a great way to come in, especially with this topic we're going to talk about. So it is Tuesday night, Classic Conversations with JT and Lo. 9-ish instead of 8:30-ish. As you see, we had some problems with the mic. Mine was still a little messed up, but we on and popping right now. As my partner just said right there, 404-500-1605. We're going to put that number up on the screen because this is going to be a great conversation. Make sure that you go to urbanatlanta.com. I need for you to hit that subscribe button. I need for you to hit that subscribe button. I need for you to hit the subscribe button. It don't cost you a dime.
And don't forget, as you're watching the show on our Facebook page or our Instagram page, hit as many times you can the like buttons, the star buttons, the heart buttons. All that helps our what's the word Jaron used? It help, algorithm. There you go.
It is. Yeah, that
the
thing.
algorithm.
Yeah, yeah. Just hit it. Don't cost you nothing. Don't cost you nothing to hit that button over there. We'll give you the subject matter, then we're going to introduce everybody or let everybody introduce themselves. But tonight, we will be speaking on vaccinated or non-vaccinated, as they call it, vaxxed or non-vaxxed. That's the new thing now. The NBA players are calling it vaxxed or non-vaxxed. We're going to talk about reasons that you probably should get vaccinated. We're going to talk about it being a personal choice, whether or not if you have someone that's living with you, does it now change from being a personal choice to being a choice for your family? If you are not vaccinated, we're going to talk about, is there anything that probably would make you change your mind to get to it? And for those of you out there that are vaccinated, do you realize that you can actually still catch the virus? So yeah, let's that you can actually still catch the virus.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that I believe don't understand that part. So go ahead, young lady, introduce yourself. I mean, everybody should know you anyway. You're down here all the time. So go ahead.
I am a regular, semi-regular on the show. My name's Christy Gaynell. I'm a stand-up comedian and an author, and very opinionated.
To say the least.
She's being modest, y'all.
I'm being modest. I'm a mildly opinionated individual who doesn't mind sharing my thoughts with the world because clearly they need them. Y'all heard this shit when I'm not here. It's just a smoosh fest of agreement with each other. So, no, I'm just kidding. I just come to break up the monotony, give it a little estrogen to the testosterone infused room. You're welcome.
Yes, we appreciate
thank you very
that
much.
estrogen. We appreciate that. Go ahead, brother. Go on, let everybody know who you are. I mean, let them know this is your second or third time back. Second time back. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Ernest Benson, last professional counselor. I was here when we talked about suicide and depression. I want to kind of come back and share with the fellas again.
And he also blessed us with some cigars. Who the cigars? Tell them again. Who the cigars?
The Russo is an exclusive cigar.
Wait, where's mine? What's going on here?
All right.
But if you learn to appreciate cigars. I didn't know.
I have a deep appreciation.
Now, remember, Brother Ernest, I'm going to give you a heads up now so we don't have that problem again. Remember to talk into the microphone. Because the last time you were here, you saw yourself and you were a little disappointed that you weren't clear.
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you as long as you're talking into that mic.
All right, thank you. I'm going to make sure. I'm not going to turn my head.
Hold on.
Check, mic check. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Is he on?
Mic check, 1, 2,
Hello?
1, 2.
Hello? Hello?
There you go.
All right,
There
there we
it
go.
is.
There it is.
All right, I need to do it again.
Go ahead and tell them who you are. Tell them
do
who
it
you are.
again.
Yeah.
I'm Ernest Benson, licensed professional counselor. My first show I came to talk about suicide and depression. And as we know, my wording didn't come out quite right. So I wasn't satisfied with that. So I wanted to come back and get some important information and talk about this conversation as well. So that's why I'm back.
Good deal, good deal.
Type in how they're related.
And
Oh,
listen here, y'all. We have him back. He is back in the saddle, and he is really, really close to the conversation that we're going to be having tonight.
Really close to the conversation.
Ask a cop. Go on, let him know, bruh.
The return of Ask a Cop. There you
Hey,
go.
Mike Lewis, I'm back. I actually got vaccinated with Moderna, and I actually, months later, caught COVID. That's why I haven't been on the show the last couple weeks. I'm telling you, I was pro-vaccine, and now I'm like 120% pro-vaccine. That shit jumped on my ass like a monkey. And like I said, I wouldn't wish it on any of them. The chills, the fever. I kept my taste and smell. And I tell you what, when you contact them, they pretty much tell you when you're in the upper age, they tell you, hey, look, there's nothing we can do for you. They prescribed ibuprofen, told me to take cold meds, suppressant, but hey, I'm lucky it was milder than it would have been. I was tight. I run. I'm in shape. That shit. And like now, when I run, I like to run and cycle, and I couldn't even do it. I tried to go 100 yards, and I was bent over. So I just walked back and forth from my house to my front gate, to my house and front gate, back and forth.
Walking is hard.
Yeah, breathing hard as you can. And then just dozing off and be watching something, next thing you know, you're out and you may wake up 2 or 3 hours later. Just the fatigue, the feeling of fatigue, and you haven't done anything.
Hey, y'all got him good on the mic, right? MJ?
Turn. Hey, Will, turn that fan off too for me, please. As much as I hate to do it.
I know. Well, I'm gonna have to take my hat off now.
So yeah, Ask a Cop, man. You had first-hand experience. We definitely wanted you here to be able to talk through it. I'm sure you can add in as this conversation goes forward.
Person with COVID.
Well, I think
So, you know
JT
what?
opened up the conversation. But go ahead.
Here we go. Let's open up this conversation so we can get this thing
Since
started.
she wants to start, go ahead.
We're gonna wait. We're gonna go across the table. We're gonna start over here, and all you gotta do is say yes or no. Are you vaccinated?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Hell yes.
She said, I identify. Number one fan said, glad you back, MJ, and you recovering. She'll cuss you out later.
Wait, get back. Hey, number one fan.
You want to
get
stick
back
with
here. What? You identify as
I'm
vaccinated?
trans vaccinated, yeah. Trans, yeah. You know, people can be whatever these days, so.
Look, the one time that I say she leaves the comedy away, there you go. So now understand. Okay, so understand. We're not going to try and beat people up for their choice. The reason we're doing this is because we want people to kind of know some more, to educate their choice a little bit, I guess, is what I would say that type of way. So starting over here, what was your reason for getting vaccinated?
Truly, this is how we work because of the unknown what's in the vaccination, what's in the vaccine, and not being certain, and it was rushed. But what I do, I go to houses, I go in homes. So for me, that was the best line of defense for me to not get it. Like if that's the only line of defense that we had to protect ourselves, then I chose to go ahead and take it because I need to be protected.
Okay. MJ, what was your reason for getting vaccinated?
Number one was my parents. They're both in their 80s.
Okay. Do they live with you? Do they live with you?
No, they don't
Parents?
live with me,
Okay.
but I go by, I have coffee with my mom probably twice a week.
Okay.
My mom and my dad. So I didn't want to bring anything into them. And number two, I wanted to travel. And when they first started talking about it, they said, "Oh, they're going to ban travel if you're not vaccinated." So I jumped on that bandwagon.
Right.
I'm retired. And number three, I just think I think it's your duty to protect others if you're going to be in everybody's face.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna come to you next. My reason for getting it done, honestly, because I didn't take flu shots. The only reason I took flu shots was when I was in the military, and we got a flu shot. We got a day off. That was the only reason I took those
Hilarious.
shots. Real talk.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't like needles. So I actually ended up taking the vaccine
people.
because my mother actually came down with COVID. My mother, my aunt, and my uncle, cousin, but I treat like an uncle to me, he ended up passing away from it. So my mom kind of I said something to her about coming home, and just out of the blue, she sent me and my wife a text in the middle of the day and just asked us if we were going to get the vaccine. And I actually went to my wife and said, you know, I think she's basically telling me I can't come to our house unless I get the vaccine. So honestly, I wasn't educated on it. I was adamant on, I was not going to get the shot until my mother said that. That's what made me get it. And I realized then that my wife actually wanted it the whole time, because as soon as I said something about it, appointments was made in 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
It was like she was waiting to hit the button. Oh, he ready. Appointment was made. You know, that's the reason why I got it. Now, I have done some research since then to, you know, if I would have done that research, then I think I still would have gotten the shot. You know, I think I still would have gotten it. So now, identifiable.
Yes.
What? No, seriously, what?
I was born into a vaccinated body, so I identify as.
She on one.
Let me stop.
We
We
got a new Christy tonight.
I do speak and advocate for the unvaccinated, just because I feel like the unvaccinated are under attack, not just from COVID, but also from the vaccinated people who are trying to relegate them into this category of threat. I mean, a year ago this time, we were all facing the same threat, right? We were all looking at, oh, COVID is the threat. COVID, coronavirus, this is, you know, I mean, some of us were looking at the cops as the threat, but the rest of us was looking at coronavirus as the threat collectively. And we were all kind of standing against whoever created it and brought it here. Some of us were on the fence regarding mask and not mask, but I think with this vaccination, the movement that they've made towards trying to force it on everybody globally has created so much dissension amongst people, where you have vaccinated people literally turning on unvaccinated people to the point where they're willing to put their lives at risk, put their livelihoods at risk. And I'm just like, for what? You're not in any better standing by being vaccinated than an unvaccinated person. If you can still get the virus, you can still die from the virus. You don't know what the potential harm of the vaccine is as of yet. And you don't know what the potential threats are as of yet. So for you to take this thing that we have no idea, it hasn't been tested thoroughly, we don't know what the long-term ramifications of it are, but for you to insist that every person on earth go ahead and submit to this based on your desire to live in a fearless state of mind, which is false, it's insane to me. And so just based on the insanity of the way that vaccinated people and our governments are handling the situation, I prefer to speak on behalf of unvaccinated people.
Okay, Angelo, what was your reason for becoming vaccinated?
I got vaccinated, and the honest truth is, I started watching the news because I initially said I wasn't going to do it, like most of us, you know what I mean? But as I watched the news every day and watching the lines, and there was just something I saw in line that I didn't see of everyone. I saw nothing but white people in line getting vaccinated and very few black people. And I said, well, they don't kill each other.
The hell they don't.
No, they don't kill each other. They don't, they'll kill us. They're not killing them. And I'm telling you, I saw all them white folk taking the vaccine. I said, shoot, if all these white folk taking the vaccine, I'm taking this vaccine. There's something to this. There's something to this. They running to take it, you know. And that was my main. That was the first time I really started thinking about, I'm gonna have to look into this a little bit closer.
How would you feel if you found out that they gave you a different version than they were giving the white people?
And you know, go ahead, answer that.
I mean, how would I feel if you know, naturally that'd be a whole other conversation. You know what I'm saying? But I would find it hard to believe that that's the case.
My question is, how would you know you got a different one than somebody else?
Well,
Dr. Thompson's back on the.
Oh, somebody's on the phone?
Yeah,
Oh, this is the.
that's the doctor.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But
Oh yeah, you missed that part. That
Yeah.
conversation.
I have a question for you, gentlemen, because I mean we haven't gotten into it on this
Let's
show.
acknowledge the caller before you ask that.
Okay.
Hey caller, how you doing? Caller? You still there?
Reggie, what's up, bro? Reginald Johnson, cat that called in and stayed on the line with us a little bit last week. He's on everything. All right.
Okay, well go ahead, ask your question while I want to acknowledge him.
Yeah, what, before you ask the question, let me ask you this. I know that you said that you stand for the unvaccinated because of the attacks and everything.
Hello.
I'm with
There
you a
he
little.
is.
Caller, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Great. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Dr. Thompson. I'm a general practitioner specializing in neurology and internal medicine. And I've had lots of conversations about and around COVID. And I've been listening to your guys' discussion on Facebook, which is slightly delayed from the call, which is why we have this little disconnect here. But if you have a question, if you could repeat it, because in that transition, I missed something.
And he didn't ask the question yet.
Yeah. I hadn't asked anything, but basically we were speaking on all of us up here. You know, I asked the question as if who was vaccinated, who wasn't, and then I asked for the reason that they decided to either get vaccinated or not to get vaccinated. So if you want, I can ask you the same questions. Up to you to let that information out. But are you vaccinated?
He told us.
Well, I mean, for the people that wasn't here.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
For the people that wasn't here the last time that you called in, I heard you did some good stuff on that last show. But are you vaccinated?
I am not vaccinated.
Okay, so just like I asked everybody else up here, give us the reason that you decided or have decided, still holding on to the decision not to get vaccinated.
Well, my decision really stems from a medical perspective, and I contracted COVID earlier on before a vaccine was available. And all of the evidence in medicine shows that the immunoprotective value of having recovered from a natural infection is actually greater than the protection that you get from vaccines, even with these booster doses. And so knowing that personally, I have no incentive to get vaccinated because I'm just exposing myself to potential risks that are currently here to unknown.
And okay, with that, let me ask you, because I actually heard that also another doctor spoke about that. I was listening to a radio show, and a gentleman called in, and he said that he had actually contracted COVID, and he said that, you know, a lot of businesses, the government, a lot of different things are asking for, you know, your vaccination status in regards to a card. And he was basically stating that because he already had COVID, he had a vaccine within his body, but they wouldn't accept that. So with that being said, is there, I mean, none of us know where this thing is going to lead. We do know that nothing is going to get back to the point to where it was before. But if it does get to a point to where, you know, restaurants, stores, you know, any place you're going to shop, malls or whatever, or start asking that you have to be vaccinated to enter this establishment, is that something that would sway you to get vaccinated at that time? If that came about?
Yeah, I mean, it's a useful thought experiment. But I don't think it'll come to pass because even though they're talking about that now, if you can see what they do, right? They say something that then evokes a condition in people to respond to it. And then they never actually do the thing because now they don't have to because you already went in line with what they were saying that they were going to do. And that's been a large part of the strategy thus far. If they do implement something like that, I think there'll be enough pushback to have them repeal these sort of things. And the evidence is currently mounting, right? The evidence is mounting that natural infection and the protective value is actually superior. And there's been studies out of Israel and Asia that are currently showing that there's no reason for these people to get vaccinated. And I think it's just a matter of time. So they may have this rule where they say you can't go into a mall or a restaurant or wherever, and it'll last for 6 months, but I don't think it's going to last much longer than that. So am I willing to resist going to a mall or a grocery store, or not a grocery store, but a restaurant or something like this for 6 months until this blows over? Yeah, I think I am.
Let me ask you something, Doc. Had you not contracted COVID, had you never contracted it, would you still resist taking the vaccine?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that because I don't have to make that decision for myself. I know that when I speak to patients that I set a specific criteria for who gets vaccinated and who I recommend strongly the vaccination for and who I don't. And it really is based on the data. And all of the data shows that if you're over 65, you have a high morbidity, mortality rate after catching COVID. Morbidity meaning getting ill, and mortality obviously meaning expiring. And so if you look at the COVID data, for people who are young, people who are 16, 17 and younger, COVID is far less dangerous for them than the flu is. We don't mandate the flu every year. As you get higher and higher in age, the response or the illness, the level of illness of people contracting COVID becomes more detrimental than people contracting the flu. But there's a very specific trend where it gets far, far worse as the older you get. And it almost has no impact the younger you get. And so I tell people who are older than 50, they should definitely get it. People who are younger than 30, honestly, between 25 and 40, depending on your health and your other personal choices, I think you need to make the tough choice of knowing that if you contract it, you have a high probability of having a bad outcome, a decent, I won't say high. If you're under 25, you probably have a very, 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 very low probability of having any negative outcomes from COVID. So I don't particularly recommend it to them. Me, I happen to be 44. I'm kind of in that modest risk area. Fairly healthy. I run several miles multiple days a week. So I don't have to make that choice right now, but, it would be a personal choice. And life is about managing risk. So you take the risk, you take the risk on both sides, and you take your own personal situation into account. And I think America is about making choices for yourself, right? Autonomy is a big part of medicine. We tell people what the risks are, what the options are, and we let them make the decision. And I think that that's what we should do for populations who are at moderate risk, is educate them and let them make the choice for themselves. And so I'm not answering that question because I can't answer that question.
Okay,
but I think it's about choices.
Okay, Doc, I have a follow-up for you.
Wait.
My follow-up is this. It's more like a morality issue. You're just like a first responder. You have, I don't know, maybe you might see 100 patients, I don't know how many a week or a month. And just like a police officer, a medic, anybody that works in the ER, anybody that comes into contact with people and it's not that person's choice, and you're seeing all those people, don't you think from a moral standpoint, those people should be vaccinated because they're coming into people, like say if a police officer gets a call on a domestic and he goes to that house and he's came into contact with 100 other people that day, I think he should be required to have something extra just to protect the people he comes into contact with. And I'm not knocking what you're saying, but because I'm not even pretending to be a doctor, but I'm saying from a morality standpoint, you're forcing yourself somewhat on people. I don't know. I mean, people are coming to you, but they're coming to you for help. And if you can make it less likely that that person contracts something that could possibly kill them because they're already in a weakened state if they're coming to you anyway, I just think certain professions should be required to take.
Can I speak on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
I know you were asking him, but I really have an opinion because doctors deal with people with infectious diseases all the time, right? Doctors are always putting themselves in a position to be exposed to something. Coronavirus is not the first deadly virus to grace us with its presence. So when you go to the doctor, you're always at risk of seeing a person who's already dealt with potentially hundreds of other people and had exposure to all kinds of other viruses that are equally deadly, equally painful, equally, harmful to you. And they typically have built up an immunity to a lot of stuff because they see so many people of various types of illnesses and diseases and such. But you don't think about that when you go to the doctor. You don't think, oh man, this doctor saw 100 people today. One of them might have had tuberculosis. Maybe I can get it from him. One of them may have had staphylococcus. Like, you don't think about it from that perspective. But as soon as it's coronavirus, because of the 24-hour news cycle that's been on constant repeat for 2 years straight, that's the only thing you can think of now in terms of every choice you make, whether it be how you interact with people, whether you're standing 6 feet apart, what you do when you go to the doctor, what you do when you go to a restaurant. Like, we've been flooded with this fear-mongering system to make that the sole focus of your thought process. But it's not the first thing that's been contagious. It's not the first thing that's harmful. And it's not been ever your first thought when you think about going to the doctor of what else that doctor might have seen today that you can contract.
What else in your lifetime, Chrissy, has caused this many deaths? Then, you saying the first thing? Tell me something else in your lifetime that's caused this kind of deaths.
The flu.
The
flu has caused this kind of death in my lifetime.
Not at this number.
No.
Okay, you got to look at it.
How long you been living? Did you leave and come back? I think we've been living about the same amount of time.
And it's just like
flu
malaria.
just didn't
when you
do
go to
this.
Southeast Asia and other countries, if you've gone to Africa, you go to parts of Southeast Asia, you're required to take malaria tablets and different, precautions and other shots that you have to take, maybe yellow fever, things that you can't contract inside the United States, but it's prevalent in other parts of the world. So you take those as a precaution. And now that it's out, it doesn't matter why it's out. Oh, shit. Alcohol abuse, my bad. But
so I do have a point here.
Party foul.
Yeah, it's out there now. And Doc, I wasn't being attacking. I was just saying that, I was a first responder for years, and there's a lot of things we were required to take. You had to have a current, you had to be up on all your shots. So the whole thing is like a tetanus shot. That's one you had to take as a precaution. And I'm just, and maybe I'm erring on the side of caution, but I just think that if you're helping people, true enough, and my hat's off to anybody that's a first responder. My only issue is if you're going into people's homes, like maybe a lady that's got an immune deficiency problem, and she comes to see you about a neurology problem, I think it's almost, I'm not going to say what it to me, I have my personal opinion about it, but I would be like, okay, certain things that you have to put the welfare of the many against the welfare of the few. And I did that a lot of times in law enforcement because some of the choices you have to make. I'm just saying, as a doctor, I know you put your life on the line all the time. So it's not an attack. I'm just saying I just think, I'd like to just hear your words on that.
Dr. Thompson, you still there?
Yes, there's a slight delay. And
okay.
I do want to answer that question.
Thank you.
I think the question that you're posing is a false question because the premise that people who, and I'm going to separate this, right, from people who go in people's houses all the time, like a police officer. I'm going to go with that particular demographic, right? People who have high level of interaction with multiple people. And the reason why it's a false argument is because at this stage of this whole pandemic, we as a population are at a state where anyone who wants to protect themselves can get vaccinated if they believe that that is the thing that is going to protect them. Each of us has our own choice to get vaccinated. If I'm coming into your house and you're worried that I'm going to bring COVID into you, then you should have got the shot already. You're already protected. Why do you care that me as a police officer haven't received that shot, right? And the other part of that is all of the studies so far have shown that the vast majority of people who have been vaccinated with the current vaccine are able to contrast and spread these variants that are coming around. So if you're still spreading it anyway, from person to person or house to house or however you're going, and those people have the option to protect themselves by getting the vaccine if they believe that's the most efficient way for them to get protected, then I don't see where you're protecting society by getting yourself vaccinated as a police officer. Now, if you're talking about in an ICU where these people are immunocompromised and like incredibly sick and have other factors that are coming into account, maybe that is a place where you want to ensure that everyone has to be vaccinated if they don't have that choice. But for common people like police officers, just because you see a lot of people every day, there's no reason that you have to get vaccinated. It's a choice for you. And personally, I think that everybody at this point who wants to get vaccinated can have done so already. Anyone else who chooses not to get vaccinated has chosen to get COVID at some point and to take their chances of whatever happens to them when they get it.
I think you had a question for him.
Oh, yeah, Doc, I have a question. Because now a lot of hospitals, a lot of people that are working in the medical profession, they're being forced to take the vaccine or they may have the possibility of losing their jobs. How do you feel about that?
I think that's terrible. I think I've seen lots of professional medical organizations protesting and saying this isn't right and speaking out against being mandated to get these vaccines. I think, us mandating and forcing people to do anything of this nature is beyond the scope of what America stands for and what we pretend to stand for. I think personal choice, if I have cancer and I want to not take chemotherapy, I don't have to take chemotherapy. We have choices. And I think it's wrong that we're forcing this choice on people who are in healthcare simply because they're in healthcare. In specific situations, as I mentioned earlier, I think something like that may be necessary. But as a general mandate, I think it's wrong. It should not be a thing.
All right. So my second question is, how do you suggest that people protect themselves from COVID? What should you do if you choose not to take the vaccine that would protect you from catching COVID and dying from COVID?
You're saying how would I'm clarifying this question because I'm not sure I understand it entirely. But you're asking how are people going to protect themselves for COVID if they don't get the vaccine?
Correct. Like, what is your suggestion? What do you suggest to people? What do you suggest people do to protect themselves from catching the virus?
So that's catching the virus and having a negative outcome from the virus are two completely different things. The vast majority of people who catch COVID are asymptomatic. They get COVID, they didn't know they had COVID, they got better, and that's it. Beyond that, of the people who do get sick, a small portion of them get severely sick, and only a small portion of those die. You know that out of 100 people, only one person dies from COVID. And the vast majority, almost all of those people, are over the age of 65. So we're talking about a disease of the elderly. So how do they protect themselves? For those people, I say get vaccinated. For people who are younger and healthy, and protecting yourself from contracting COVID, I don't know that there's anything you can do. Limit your access to other people. Wear a mask potentially. wash your hands. The typical things that people have been saying that slow the spread are fine to reduce your risk of contracting COVID. To enhance your ability to survive COVID, take vitamins, get active, lose some weight, exercise, get your body healthy and your immune system healthy, and you'll combat COVID much better. But as I said before, I think that anybody who chose not to get vaccinated has accepted the fact that when they get COVID, they're going to take their chances.
So let me ask you this question. I know you got to say something, JT, but number one fan, just perfect from what you just said. She said a 25-year-old young writer with the Washington Post, a runner, 0 health issues in her life, contracted the virus, and is still suffering with breathing problems. So are we to say that just because you're taking vitamins and you're in good shape, it still doesn't prevent, you from getting very sick from this virus? So my question, I guess, would be, although you could be in the best shape of your life, that doesn't mean you're not going to have any health issues. So my understanding from the vaccine is because you said this time, and I know the big conversation last time was the number of deaths from the virus, but isn't it bigger than just the deaths? Isn't it about the recovery from the virus? Doesn't that play a big part, that the vaccine helps you with the recovery so that you don't get as sick as if somebody that's vaccinated versus non-vaccinated?
I would agree with the severity of illness in people who are vaccinated is less. And that's true. And there are some people who have long COVID and have these extended symptoms. And there are instances of young individuals who do get sick. And you know what? Those handful of young people who get sick and have severe negative outcomes are taken and plastered all over the place so that they can be examples like you just put out as a person who was young and healthy and had this terrible outcome. And you know what? The people out there who die from bee stings, the people out there who die from peanuts, there are people out there who die from skydiving accidents, but they're not statistically relevant. And so when we're talking about medicine, we're talking about large numbers of people, and we're talking about statistics. For you to pull out one instance or 2 instances or 10 instances of these events that happen, when we're talking about hundreds of millions of people, and if we're talking about globally, we're talking about billions of people, and you pull out these anecdotal instances, that's not medicine. That's conjecture, and that's what the media does. That's not what medicine does.
Okay, I want to respond to what Angelo said about the 25-year-old who still having breathing problems. Ask a Cop also recently got COVID. He's vaccinated, and he's also still having breathing problems. We also have a lot of unvaccinated people who've gotten COVID and been completely unsymptomatic or asymptomatic.
So with that, what if he wasn't vaccinated?
That's what I'm saying. We don't know, because whether or not you're vaccinated, the degree to which you suffer from this illness varies from having a positive test and not knowing that you're sick, not feeling anything, not having a fever. That's what asymptomatic means. It means you don't have any symptoms. And from the beginning of this pandemic, they've been telling us that a lot of people who get COVID are asymptomatic, right? That's why everybody has to wear a mask, because you might not know you have it. You might not know you're sick. So a significant number of people have gotten this virus completely unvaccinated and not had or shown any symptoms whatsoever. And from that point, it's gradated from asymptomatic to death, with 1% of the population being the people that die from this virus. The rest of the people get it. They may have some symptoms. They have different rates of recovery. They have different lingering side effects. But the same is true of the vaccinated people that are getting it. They have different rates of recovery. They have lingering symptoms. Some of them, about 1%, are still dying. So the difference between vaccinated and unvaccinated, from my perspective, is insignificant, because the gradient of possibility with which you suffer when you have it varies so greatly that it's impossible to say that you suffered more or less because you were vaccinated.
Okay.
Wait,
Doc,
I-
I have
Well,
a question.
vaccinated people die too.
Doc,
hold
I have
on.
a question. This is a quick question.
Hold on, I got a couple questions. First, let me ask this one because she's gonna be mad if I don't. Hey, Doc, I had a question on the live. They asked if have you lost a loved one to COVID?
Not that I know of, no.
Okay. I know we got another call on the line too, so let me get to this. Ask you, you're a doctor, and I know that the asymptomatic thing. Exactly what is asymptomatic? Does it mean there's no symptoms or just some symptoms?
No.
No, asymptomatic means without symptoms.
So no symptoms at all.
No symptoms.
Your smell is good, no fever, no nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing like that. Okay,
Right.
yeah, because I had some people I was talking to before that was going with that. Now, in regards to the vaccine, and again, I said it at the beginning of the show. I was tripping, looking at the first week of college football and how many people was packed in those stands. It was almost, and I know for a fact there are a lot of people still out there that actually think that because they have the vaccine, they can't catch COVID. We all know that that's not true. We know that that's not true. There's a lot of people out there that believe that though. But let me ask you, is it, in regards to the vaccine, is it more of a defense against catching and spreading in regards to what you've researched and everything? Is it more of a defense?
Having the vaccine, it depends on what you're referring to. As far as we know, and the evidence is not clear or available on this yet. And as I was saying, medicine is about evidence, and we need large numbers of people in order to evaluate the evidence. And at this point, we don't have those large numbers of people. But anecdotally or based on our current knowledge and extrapolating from that, you could argue that people who have been vaccinated are going to be resistant to the current strain of COVID-19, meaning the one that we initially had. But that's what the vaccine was based off of. But these additional strains, Lambda, the Mu, the Delta variant, very likely these people are going to be able to contract and spread it just like everybody else.
Okay, but in regards to the initial variant of COVID, what you're saying is that it does help in regards to you catching it and spreading it. Not saying that it will stop, but it is somewhat of a defensive.
Sure. But as I say that.
Go ahead.
As I say that, it does slow the spread of that variant, and it can reduce the impact on some levels. But this process, this virus is not going away, and because you didn't get exposed to, in fact, let me pose this question. Let's say the first version of COVID was the weakest version out there, and we had the opportunity to let it go through our society. And let's say in 10 years, we get a monster version of COVID. And we've already got all these people out here who are never been exposed to COVID because we're sheltering in place. We're closing down everything. And all those people get this ridiculous version and die because they never got exposed to the weaker version.
So,
who do you blame for that?
Well, 10 years from now, once that come up, I think that's something we'll deal with. I can talk. I mean, and I get what you're saying. I promise you, I do. 10 years from now, I'll be in that bracket you was talking about early, where I'm gonna have to get it. So,
You know what? I'm glad you said that.
But I mean, you actually just said that it does help in regards to the first strand. So being that you just said that it does help, I'm still trying to figure out what if it does help. I'm just trying to figure out why it wouldn't be
And,
recommended in regard. I know you said that you wouldn't recommend that younger people do it or whatever, but if it is some help, whether it's 1%, 0.05%, whatever it is, if it is some help, how is it something that you don't feel people should get?
Doc, can I
Because
say
we don't
something?
know the long-term side effects. That's something that he alluded to last time he was on the show.
You will
Wait,
never
no,
know
hold
the
on.
long-term side effects until 20 years from now.
Exactly,
But, right now,
but
if
20
you're
years
not
from
here
now,
20
the
years
people
from now,
in
don't
the
matter.
20 years from now, the people that are in the age bracket he's talking about are likely not going to be here anyway. But
So
the
you
people,
saying
hold
that
on,
I ain't
I'm not
gonna
done.
be here 20 years from now because I took a
are you
vaccine?
65?
I will be.
In 20 years, in 10
I'll
years.
be 75. But
Right,
I'm
so
saying,
in
you
10
saying I ain't
years,
gonna be
but that's
here?
what I'm saying. I'm glad that you made that point about, in 10 years, I'll be in that group. Because what he's suggesting is that the people that are in that at-risk group get vaccinated. And if there are harmful side effects that come about in 10 and 20 years, they're not going to be as greatly impacted as somebody in a younger age bracket. So let's say one of the side effects is sterility, right? And because you got vaccinated, you can't have kids, right?
I'm cool with that.
Yes, you are at this point in your life
playing.
and in your age bracket. But your kids, your grandkids, you know what I'm saying? Your line won't be continued. Like there's a lot of people, we're forcing this on our children, and we don't know the side effects. We don't know how this is going to affect them. Some of these kids haven't hit puberty yet, and they're getting vaccinated. We don't know how this vaccine is going to affect their development. We don't know how this vaccine is going to affect people's ability to reproduce. We don't know if it's going to have an impact on the children that are born into society as a result of that.
Do we know that for any vaccine? Do we know that for any of them? Do we know that
Well,
for the flu?
the
Do we know that
vaccines-
for, do we know that for
Hold
any?
on,
Did
hold
you
on.
take the flu shot?
I don't take the flu shot, but what I'm saying is
Have you
the
taken any
vaccines
medicine?
that are, I don't take medicine. The vaccines that are currently active and that
Alien? You don't take no medicine?
I don't take medicine.
You don't go to the
Doc, I
doctor?
know you're waiting. I just want
You
to
don't
knock
go to
one
the
more
doctor
bottle
at all.
back to you.
I don't
Stop.
go to the doctor. But hold on. I mean, sometimes it depends on what it is. I mean, if I broke a bone, I would go to the doctor to get it reset or
Right, 'cause
something.
you gotta-
But
Oh, well, we have
if
the
I
doctor
had a
on the
really
line. I
deep
got a
gash
good
that
question
needs
for
to be
the
sewed. But I was saying, wait, I just want to finish this one
Go
sentence.
ahead.
Right.
Go ahead.
Dang, you made me forget. You suck. But no, what I'm saying is, like, without the vaccines that have been currently administered that are given to most kids between birth and age 2, tetanus shots, all these vaccines have been in existence for most of our lifetimes, if not longer. So they've had 20, 30, 40, 50, 80 sometimes years of testing. We've seen the side effects. We're living with some of the side effects. Autism is actually one of the side effects, purportedly. And so it's like we have seen side effects of those vaccines because they have been administered over a period of decades, and we've seen what's happened. However, this vaccine is only 6 months old, and you guys are trying to force it on an entire global population of men, women, and children of all ages.
Let me address some of that.
That's insane.
Let me address some of that. Because,
No,
because
it's not insane.
What I hear-
I'm not going to let her
what-
just say that we're insane right now. We're not insane.
Well, and then, in terms of insanity, that's a whole different. We got to talk about the meaning of insanity. We just use the term too loosely. So,
Okay.
No,
first
we
of all,
got another doctor.
But let me ask you this:
Let me comment on
because
your,
a lot of
on
these
your
things are based on
assessment.
anxiety, fear.
Right.
Corona itself created anxiety and fear in everybody. Then you have a second phase of a fear because now people are afraid to take the vaccine because they don't know what will happen.
Right.
You've taken vaccines prior to this. You took a vaccine when you were less than 5 to go to school. You don't have any idea what was in that. You're eating food that you don't even know where it comes from. So we don't have any clue what the food is really happening, what's causing.
No, she don't.
Man, these kids talking about they won't get vaccinated but eat edibles. They don't have no idea what's in them
Right,
edibles.
they don't have
They
any
have
idea
no
what's
idea what's in them edibles. But they tell them they eat them edibles like it's going out of style. Come on, man. That big.
Hey, Doc,
I think
Doc, I have another
everything-
question for you.
I
Doc.
think everything is based on fear. Like everybody's afraid
Yes, I-
of
actually,
what's
I
going to
still
happen.
wanna
Everybody's
address
afraid
that
of what's
last
going to
question.
happen. Like
I think people are getting vaccinated because they're afraid of what's going to happen. Like it's
all
clear,
based on-
but there's been systematic fear mongering amongst society with regard to the vaccine. And I've been reading some of the comments.
I have a doctor said autism is not a side effect of vaccines. Please stop spreading this misinformation.
Wait, hold on.
I said purportedly, okay? I did say purportedly.
Thank you, Dr. J.
Purportedly, it is a side effect, and there is a strong argument to support that.
You said you had a question for the doctor real quick?
Yeah, I have a question for the doctor.
Hey, Dr. Thompson, we got another question for you. Then we got some other callers. I don't want to hold your night up all night. So
this
let
is what
MJ
I
ask
got
his
for
question.
you. This is a volley back to you. And this is a predominantly black show, so I'm not talking worldwide. I'm not talking the Caucasian part of America or any other. But in the African-American population, do you think it's somewhat reckless for people to go against the vaccine when obesity, diabetes, hypertension, and so many breathing and other issues we have as a people? And what's happening is like with everything with us, it's, conspiracy theory. So you have some people, because remember when it first came out, black people didn't think we could get it. And I'm just saying that you have a lot of people that could, like under your own statement, should be getting it. And then when healthy people, I was in shape and got it. You're obviously in shape by you're running, and it's almost like we're making a false cushion and a fear in people that probably should be taking it. And I think that's somewhat reckless for people to say, okay, yeah, don't, but they're not saying, well, if you're a big BBW or if you have other underlying health issues, you can't go with that. You need to roll on the area.
Why couldn't it be a BBM?
You can't be.
Why couldn't it be a BBM? Why it had to be a BBW?
BBW is all the same.
Same.
All the same category.
I'm just saying.
And I'm just saying for safety, I'd like to err on the side of caution.
Well, I'm gonna say
Wait, hold on.
Let him respond.
I want him to respond.
Let me respond to that. Let me respond.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I want to say this. I am clearly pro-vaccine in the sense that we have been using vaccines to resolve many conditions of recent age. And I think that advancements in medicine are phenomenal. And let's not pretend, I'm not in any way pretending to be anti-vaccine. What I am is pro-choice. I think that people should be educated and allowed to make their own choices. And I think in the black community, we have certain fears of medicine and the way that it's been distributed. And I think that those fears cannot be overlooked. And I think that we need to try and educate people and not force them into doing what we want them to do because we want them to do it. And so that's why I don't push these things on people. I educate people. Okay. And to get back to the other gentleman who's drinking there, that red cup, and his question, he was saying, well, the COVID vaccine, or the COVID virus, the original one, if you get the vaccine, it spreads it less. So shouldn't everybody get it? So my response to that is that no, that's not relevant, because even if it slows the spread of that one, let's say you have 5 balls and we're all playing dodgeball and nobody can ever get out. We just keep throwing balls around. If you have 5 balls, we get rid of 1 ball. We've lost 1 ball. You're still throwing the other 4 balls around. My point is that it doesn't matter if you restrict the spread of the original variant. Lambda, Delta, or something else is still going to come out there and spread in lieu of that. And slowing down one doesn't actually, in reality, impact the spread of COVID. And all of these other variants are fastest spreading. You recognize that the one thing that they say about this Delta variant that come up is that it's more virulent. And what virulent is it's a 2-part component. One meaning it's more intense or more devastating, but the other part meaning that it spreads easier. And it's that spreading easier part that is the more virulent part of the Delta virus, which means, the original one that the vaccine works for and spread for, is going to be irrelevant because there's a much faster one out there anyway.
So and I know I said I was going to let you go. So after the faster one, if they come out with a vaccine for that one, should you take that vaccine or should you do the same thing? Because now we've only blocked 2 balls out of the 6 balls that's coming. So you still got 3 more or 4 more that's still coming. When should you take the vaccine? I mean, yeah, it's 6 balls coming, but do you just sit there and try and dodge all 6? or do you take it down to where now one is gone and now you only have to dodge 5?
And with that, double that question, isn't it the exact same scenario for the flu? And the flu vaccine is always different variants on top of that question? Go ahead.
So I'll address the flu one first. And what happens with the flu is that the flu is in North America or in the northern hemisphere of the planet for part of the year. And then it migrates to the southern hemisphere and just comes back and forth. It basically takes a trip like birds flying south for the winter. It goes back and forth from the southern to the northern hemisphere. And what we do for the vaccines is we go to the southern hemisphere during half the year, find the most prevalent strains, blend them up and make a cocktail of the 12 most dangerous ones as a prediction for what's going to come to the northern hemisphere in the next season. And that's how we make these vaccines going back and forth, right? And so to do something like that for COVID, we would have to have multiple serious strains that we can make a multi-cocktail for. But what's been shown to be the most protective, even of variants, is recovering from a natural infection in the first place.
So that means, so like you said, you had COVID initially. So since you had it, then your body has built the immunity that it needs to protect you from COVID. Does that include the new variants?
I won't say it includes the new variants, but that's very specific. I will say that it's more protective of new variants than any vaccine will be.
Okay, Dr. Thompson.
And I guess as you guys are looking like you need an explanation on that, and I'll explain why. Okay? When you're exposed to the actual virus itself, you get the whole virus in your body. Imagine that's like a car, right? You get the whole car, your body's immune system chops it apart, takes off the tires, takes off the steering wheel, takes off the doors, takes all the parts of the car, and then recognizes and remembers what those different parts are. Whereas when you get a vaccine, what they do is they break up the car, they take the tires and the roof and the windshield, and they make the vaccine and teach your body to respond to the roof, the tires, and the windshield. So you get a car with a different roof or a different windshield or a different pair of tires, and suddenly you don't respond that well to it. But had you have gotten the one where your body broke down the whole car in the first place, you've been exposed to many more components. And so that's why the natural protection is greater than these vaccine protections.
Dr. Thompson, yeah, that was
Breaking it down like that.
But I get what he's saying, but I'm still trying to figure out, when do you take the vaccine then? I mean, do you wait till it's 7 strands and then you take it? Or do you start taking it now and take it each time it came out?
We go back to the original assertion,
he has initials in his name, so I'm kind of listening to him instead of listening to you.
I didn't give you all my initials. Oh my God. Okay, next time.
Hey, Dr. Thompson, I wasn't here the last time that you came on, but I did see the show. We really, really appreciate you. I hope that you will, reach back out to us when we have something else coming up that, you can throw some of that input in here. But we got a couple of other callers, and I ain't want to hold up your whole night, but we really appreciate you, sir.
But still stay tuned if you can, just in case something else comes up that you can address for us.
And then give a call back
if you're available.
We got some calls waiting right now. So again, we appreciate you for sure.
All right. Well, I appreciate the conversation, and you guys have a good night.
All right.
Thank you,
sir. You too.
Don't go far.
We have another caller, Dwayne.
Yeah, call back, Jaron. We know you got something to say.
Yeah, we know Jaron got.
He sent a whole text message that I shared with everybody prior.
Yeah, Jaron is ready.
Here's the problem that I'm having. You guys are confusing, it seems like, to me, the difference between an unvaccinated person. Like, unvaccinated people aren't out here saying nobody should get vaccinated. And there's a lot of
they are.
No, they're saying they don't want to get vaccinated. And they're saying they should have the right to make that choice for their own body. They're saying they're advocating for autonomy, not for mass, everybody, let's do the same thing.
Fix her mic, homie. Her mic is doing all types of stuff.
And while they fixing it, I'm not opposed to people making their own decisions. I think they should be able to make their own decisions. You know what I mean? But make sure you're making an educated decision and not based on conspiracy theories or things you've heard or whatever. You know what I mean? Look it up for yourself.
I think it's right working out. Who's to determine
I'm with you on that, but
what an educated decision is?
Because I'm listening to people. I was sitting out listening to a group of people, and I had to stop the people that I was sitting with from engaging into their conversation because I didn't want to get into it with them. He actually said this, and this is one of the rumors that started when it first happened, when black people felt that they couldn't get it because of their skin. This dude actually said out loud that, hey man, we got to get out in that sun more. We can keep that thing from getting on us. This is the type of stuff, and I'm sure he's around other people.
He was talking about the benefits of vitamin D3, which you absorb from the sun, which has been shown to help build your immunity and reduce your chances of contracting COVID. It actually has been shown.
What happened to the people that's in Chicago that don't get no sunlight? They doomed?
A lot of people have started, I know a lot of chiropractors' offices and various places have started recommending people take vitamin D3 because a lot of people don't get enough sunlight, but vitamin D3 deficiency does break down your immune system and makes you more susceptible to COVID as well as other viruses. So his statement was not as ignorant as your assumption of it was. You just didn't have an understanding of the vitamin benefit of absorbing sunlight.
It is true that vitamin D does protect you.
Tanning is going to keep you from getting COVID.
Sunlight helps build health. Sunlight helps build your health and build up your immunity.
Tanning.
I didn't say tanning.
Y'all go out there and stand in the sun. This is what this guy's spreading.
Sunbathing.
Well,
absorbing sunlight.
Let me say this on that note, because I remember you told me that, JT. But I almost hate to say this, but to what Christy's saying, and I don't know if this person was educated enough to say it, but I do know a friend of mine lives in the Dominican Republic, and he said what they do over there is if you contract COVID coming into the country and you test positive, they isolate them in the hotels and they put them out. They got to sit on the beach for 8 to 10 hours per day. They got to sit outside for 3 to 4 days straight. They got to go out there. They got to stay outside in the sunlight. And they said within that 3 to 4 days, they test them again, and they do come up negative for the test. So there is some truth.
From tanning? What?
That. Right, from tanning.
Yes.
Kiss my ass on that. All y'all, them people over there, they kiss my ass on that.
Look, just because you don't understand,
go out there.
Just because you don't have an understanding of the benefits of nature,
that's what they do.
And how nature works.
They don't have
everything in nature.
Have access to the shots.
Look, one minute we going on the statistics, then the next minute we going on just get out in the sun because the people in the Dominican Republic said do it.
I mean,
hey man,
there is a benefit of
I do feel that there's a benefit of, but to say just get out in the sun and that's going to do it for you. This is what I'm saying.
No, we're talking about 8 to 10 hours. They leave them out there in the sun. So that's a big difference with somebody. They might have been talking about just getting out there, for an hour or so.
I'm looking at this dude. I'm like, why can't I believe he's saying this shit out loud?
That's my point. When you say you need to educate yourself, like what level of education? Because from some perspectives, your lack of understanding the benefits of sunlight would seem like a lack of education. So a lot of people are being educated and making choices based on the education that they. I definitely did not. But a lot of people are making choices based on
I didn't hear that.
levels of education that they seek, and they're making choices. You made a choice to get vaccinated based on the things that you chose to educate yourself about. Other people are making choices to not get vaccinated based on the things that they need to educate themselves about. Different schools of thought about various things like medicine. You know what I mean? Like there's people who have different perspectives on everything. So there's so many people like, I'll go to the doctor who don't necessarily believe in medicine, but I believe in healthcare. I believe in health and wellness. I believe in vitamins and other things. I believe in herbs. I believe in plant medicine. I believe in a lot of things. I believe that garlic is a natural antibiotic. So if I get an infection, I'm more likely to take garlic than I am to take an antibiotic. But that's a choice I want to be able to make for myself. I don't want somebody to force me to take an antibiotic and then have to fight a yeast infection every time I get some kind of infection. I would rather be able to take garlic and deal with it my way and let my body do what it's naturally designed to do, which is to heal. But for another person to tell me, because they're afraid that I have to be forced to make a choice for myself that I don't agree with based on my education, I feel like it's threatening to me. I feel threatened by the population that are trying to dictate to me what I have to put in my body based on their education that's been sent to them through mass media. So unless you extend your education beyond,
so you're disregarding the doctors. You're disregarding all the health
doctors
professionals.
disagree with each other.
Okay,
So
we're talking about I feel like I'd be safe to say I think the majority of the doctors aren't going to agree with the few doctors that are saying, no disrespect to the doctor just on, but I've spoken to several doctors since our last conversation with him, and they all totally disagreed.
I feel like a lot of doctors that do not agree with it are being silenced, and I feel like a lot of
so what about the RN? What about the RN that's working in the hospital?
I feel like a lot of health practitioners are in fear for their license and their business, and as a result of that are not really speaking freely or speaking up about what they really think about the situation. And I say that, no, I'm not. I'm basing it on the fact that I've talked to people in the medical profession, and they've said that people have come into their business threatening to shut them down if they did not go along with the mandates to wear a mask or to get vaccinated, and to dictate to other people that they also needed to do that. So when you hear people in the medical profession saying that they've been threatened, their practice has been threatened, the FDA has gone after several groups of people over this was before the vaccine even came out, just over wearing masks, because a lot of health and medical professionals will tell you that wearing a mask is not healthy for you, because when you put on a mask and you're wearing it all day, you're breathing in carbon dioxide, which your body is not built to process. Your body is built to process oxygen. You breathe out carbon dioxide, but when you wear a mask all day, you're breathing back in that carbon dioxide, and people's carbon dioxide levels are rising in great number as a result.
Now,
so
I'm with you on that, because I worked out with a mask on.
There are medical professionals that are saying, you shouldn't wear a mask, but the FDA has literally gone after a lot of these people and threatened to shut down their business if they didn't post something in their window saying that a mask is required. So it's not, I'm not just hypothesizing the possibility that people may be feeling this way. I've actually spoken to people who feel this way.
Let me say this. I do agree. I agree that autonomy.
Hey, doctor, if you're still on, please call back in. I got a question for you. Just came in. Go ahead.
I agree that autonomy and personal choice is key in this scenario. Yeah. But my bigger question is, in terms of our responsibilities to other people in society, how do we protect each other? How are we protecting one another? Like, I chose to do it because I know I go into homes and I could expose other people, because I've been in other places where I don't know if they protected themselves. So for me, I'd rather not take the risk of taking somebody's germs from one house to another house.
I think we protect each other by respecting each other's rights, right? And so
respecting your rights is not protecting you.
It is, because as long as my rights are being respected, then I don't have to live in fear that I'm going to lose my job, I don't live in fear. But I'm just
if I take this, then I might be sterile.
No, I'm saying this. There are potential side effects of this that we're not aware of, and I listed.
That's not a fear.
That's not my fear.
You're afraid that the side effects may happen later on. That's not a fear.
It is a fear for some people, but what I'm saying is everybody has their own fears, and based on those fears, they make choices. Correct. And I think we as a people need to respect each other's choices and stop compounding the sense of fear that we're feeling collectively by dictating to other people that we're going to force our choice upon them. And if they don't make the same choice that we have collectively or group-wise have agreed to, that these people can't go to the hospital for treatment, or these people can't go to job, or they can't work, they can't collect unemployment, they can't provide for their family. Like, these are the things that are issues that I'm saying also affect people's lives, and those choices are being made outside of themselves. So because I don't choose to inject myself with something that you deemed okay for you, which I have no problem with, that was your choice, but because I don't make the same choice, you want to dictate to me that I can't go to work and provide for my family, that I shouldn't be allowed a bed in the hospital if I break my leg or cut my arm. Like, these are things that should be taken into consideration. And not just that, but there are people who are also allergic to the vaccines. There are people who have other health issues that prevent them from being able to get the vaccines. It does no, yes they are, because it's across the board.
Okay,
You're
so
saying that these mandates affect everybody, right? So everybody is inclusive of the people who aren't even in a position to, where their health would be more greatly impaired by taking the vaccine than by not taking the vaccine. People with immune disorders, their health will be more greatly impacted by taking the vaccine. They are. When you tell somebody that they have to show a negative vaccine or a vaccine card in order to go to work, then you're telling somebody who doesn't qualify to get vaccinated that they cannot work.
It's like anything. If it's something that you got it's called a waiver. It's called a waiver. There'll be waivers available. So you're saying your right as an individual, just like the right of a person that runs that business, if he deems the fact that I want everybody vaccinated, that's his right to want to be protected. So he tells you, if you want to remain gainfully employed at this business, you have to have a vaccine. So you're making a choice. It's America, right?
I agree.
Choice, right? Yeah, so don't get upset when somebody tells you you're fired.
The choice goes the other way.
Yeah, it goes the other way.
Right, hold on. We got a caller.
Go ahead, Jaron.
Caller, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, y'all, how y'all doing?
What's going on, brother?
What's happening?
Nah, I'm all right. The show's been pretty good. Christy.
Say what now?
Christy?
Christy.
Yeah, Christy, you're sitting up there fighting again against, seems like a whole bunch of people against you. And the thing is like, when y'all were comparing the information that y'all had with the doctors, and you had a bunch of friends who didn't agree with them from the prior week, and like Christy was saying, there's a difference between the pharmaceutical doctors, the independent doctors, and the holistic doctors. So the education of a person is based off of their choice of faith or where they believe to go to for their. I don't do pharmaceutical doctors. Pharmaceutical doctors only know pharmaceutical stuff. They can only heal you from a pharmaceutical standpoint. Every pharmaceutical is going to cause a side effect. And they're going to lose their license if they tell you to do anything outside of pharmaceutical medicine. So there's going to always be a disagreement amongst doctors. And for us to sit up here and hold which doctor is more valid than the other, all depends on how you treat, how you perceive medicine. If you are a person who wants to live your life without any care and feel like you can go to a doctor and get that magic bullet so that you can feel better and don't have to worry about anything, go to the pharmaceutical doctor. He's going to tell you a bunch of bullshit and a bunch of lies that's going to make you feel like you don't have to change nothing. And we're going to come in here and treat you for all the symptoms for your bad decisions of life. But if you go to an internal medicine doctor, they will tell you the things that you need to change so that you can be or have a better quality of life. Same with the holistic doctor. Pharmaceutical doctors don't carry weight, bro. They really don't. It's a disgusting profession. And if you want to put your faith in that, that's cool. And that's your faith. But the nation right now is on the pharmaceutical side. And that's what y'all are pushing, the pharmaceutical message. In the end, long run, nobody's sitting up here talking about or trying to tell the dark side of the COVID vaccine, or this, which I'll call a vaccine. You're not talking about the COVID toes. You're not talking about this woman up here in Minnesota who had her hands and feet cut off. Y'all not talking about the COVID, the vaccine death. All of these are side effects from the vaccine. They get a lot of blood clots. Y'all haven't mentioned anything about the FDA not supporting the vaccine. They're not going to give it any type of support at all. I sent you a clip this last week on them making that statement. The FDA and the CDC are competing against each other. So yes, it's when you have a
No, excuse me, Carl. I just want to interrupt you on that. Be clear with that. What the FDA has said is that they have time trials. They're not going to endorse it until the vaccines actually make it to the time trials that they've got put in place. So they're not saying they won't support them. They're just saying right now they haven't had enough trials to support them.
But you're still trying to force it on other people. You're trying to force it on people before it's been approved by the FDA.
You're absolutely right. That's exactly what they said. They said there's not been enough time for them to approve it. So they're not going to put their stamp on it. And if they're not going to put their stamp on it, as fucked up as they are, why would you believe the CDC, who wants to push pharmaceuticals in the big pharma thing, opposed to somebody? I mean, the FDA is not the great. They're not the great. But if they want to prove it, because they're not going to compromise their system, why would you just go ahead and say, okay, well, I can take it myself. I don't need you to approve it.
Okay, and
Let's say this. Let's do this. If you feel like you do holistic living and you work on natural pathology, how do you protect yourself from COVID? What are some remedies? What are some recipes that you can use that you can eat on a daily basis to increase your immune system to where you feel protected from COVID? If we're going to educate people, if you don't want to take the vaccine, what are your alternatives?
You want honest answers?
I want honest answers. Because we're sitting there talking about.
All right, I'm going to give you some answers. I know this is going to give me some really fascinating criticism.
You know what? I ain't gonna mess with you. Go ahead.
No, I'm not talking about from you. These Facebook people are going in on me.
Well, they should.
But no, in all seriousness, I am a proponent of holistic health and wellness, and some of the things that I highly recommend to build up your immune system so that to help protect you. I'm not saying it's going to prevent you from getting COVID, but it's definitely going to make your experience a lot easier to handle. Some of the things that I recommend would be like echinacea, vitamin D3, zinc. Olive leaf pills help a lot with the cough and the mucus buildup. If you have trouble with your breathing and stuff like that, there's a colloidal silver you can put in like an inhalant. Colloidal silver. Yeah, if you use it as an inhalant, kind of almost the way, like, you know, those breathing apparatuses and those masks or something like that. Yeah, if you put the colloidal silver and maybe some essential oils like peppermint or tea tree in there and you breathe with it, it helps a lot with healing your lungs. But you also have to know that what you're doing benefits you. Like, I mean, some people do these things and they still feel better. Some people are like, I'm going to throw everything against the wall and see what sticks, right? And so they'll take the vaccine and they'll do all of the measures that are necessary. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm saying there's some people who are like, you know what, I don't feel like I need the vaccine because I'm doing all these things and I know that they're going to work. And there are some people who are like, well, I don't know the things that'll work, so I'm just going to take the vaccine to protect myself. And all I'm suggesting is that regardless of what your choice is with regard to how you want to handle the best treatment of your body, it should be your choice to make.
I agree with that. And it definitely is
not mandated.
Now let me ask you this in regards to the choice, because I've been saying it the whole time we've been talking about it other weeks. It is a personal choice. Just like I hate when I'm out smoke cigars, and I post a picture, and somebody comes up there and everybody, oh, wear your mask. I'm with you on nobody should be down, and I mean, we're going back and forth, but I'm not downing you because of your personal choice. But now let me ask you this, in regards to personal choice. Personal choice is about you.
Right.
Now, there are people that live with their mothers, their grandmothers, things of that nature. Does your personal choice change when you're living with these people that are more high risk than you? And we just heard, Dr. Thompson say, no, it's not 100%, but it does help in regards to defending against it. Does the choice change when you're the caregiver or, again, somebody is living with you that actually
It's
can
still,
suffer?
I mean, the thing about a personal choice is it's personal, right? So your choice is going to be your choice regardless of your living environment. However, if you do live with somebody that you feel is more at risk and you feel like getting vaccinated will help protect them, then that's still your personal choice to make. Like, for instance, if I were to live with my mom, I still would choose not to get vaccinated because my mom also doesn't believe in getting vaccinated, right? However, my grandmother believes in getting vaccinated. So at that point, my personal choice would be to not necessarily go around her if she doesn't want unvaccinated people around her, or to educate her on things that she can do to build up her immune system so that she'll feel more comfortable with people coming around her, regardless of whatever her personal choice is. So, I mean, I'm not saying that it's not incumbent upon us to respect people's choices or their rights. So if whatever your environment is, if you want to protect your environment, that's your personal choice. You don't want to let people in your house unless you know that they've made the choices that you're comfortable with them being in your personal space. That's your choice to make. What I am saying, though, is that if you've made the choice that you think is going to protect you, like getting vaccinated, then you shouldn't see non-vaccinated people as a threat to the degree that you mandate that they go get vaccinated or that they can't go to work because it interferes with your belief about what their personal choices. Like, you're protected, right? Like, that was the whole reason you got vaccinated. So but here's the thing that's really, this circular argument is what's frustrating me about vaccinated people, right? Because you're saying that you got vaccinated to protect yourself and to protect your loved ones, but you don't genuinely feel protected, which is why you want everyone else to get vaccinated. You don't feel protected when you come across unvaccinated people. Otherwise, you wouldn't care.
Okay,
so I mean, if you're vaccinated, then you're protected. So it shouldn't matter to you what another person's choice is because you've already made the choice to protect yourself. The only reason it would matter to you, or you would pose the question, well, what about looking out for the welfare of others, is if you believe that even though you're vaccinated, you're still at risk somehow, which means that you don't believe the vaccine works anyway. So why are you forcing something you don't necessarily believe in?
I don't think that's the case, MJ. You can respond to that directly.
Yeah. Well,
say that again.
On two levels. One, what you're basically saying is you have a right to choose.
Absolutely.
Okay? But you don't believe that people have a right to choose to exclude you because they feel they're less safe.
No, I'm not saying they don't have a right to exclude me. I'm saying they don't have a right to force their choice on me.
You somewhat did.
Okay, no, but just see, when I tell you you're unemployed, if you're working for me and I say you must be vaccinated, I don't have it. If you want to have your free will, I should have the free will of saying, look, there's 50 other people that work here that feel less safe with you here. So guess what? You're fired.
That's your choice.
Okay, then roll with it. I don't.
But that's a choice on a private business level. I don't think it should be choice on a federal level, on a government level. I don't think that the government should have a say as to who can and cannot work based on medical choice. Because here's the reason why.
Can quit.
Here's the thing. Right now we're in the middle of a pandemic, right? But when 9/11 happened, We were in the middle of, I'm bringing 9/11 into this for a reason, right? This is a world event event that shook this nation, right? And it's put us in a state of fear for a period of time. And when that happened, it opened up an opportunity for our government to violate some of the rights that we had at that time. So there's the Patriot Act, there was Homeland Security, there was all of a sudden there was a Privacy Act as well. So like a lot of our privacy laws that used to exist no longer exist as a result of 9/11, right?
They exist. The Patriot Act allows them to act on it.
It allows them, well, no.
It gives them a leeway
No,
to do
the
it.
laws that existed before 9/11 were adjusted as a result of people's fears.
The Patriot Act suspended some of the protections. That's all it did.
Indefinitely.
Not indefinitely until,
Indefinitely.
Let's say this.
My point is, with this situation, we're facing something similar where there are currently laws in place that protect people from having to disclose medical information to employers, and this mandate that you're saying, okay, we have to show our employer whether or not we're getting vaccinated, is a violation of those regulations. So right now we've got laws that protect us. We've got HIPAA laws, we've got equal employment opportunity laws, we've got a whole lot of laws that protect people from having to disclose whatever their medical condition is and their medical information. But now you're mandating that people disclose a medical condition to their employer, and if they don't meet certain medical requirements, they're in danger of losing their job, right? But what I'm saying is we've put laws in place. We've put laws in place because people were being discriminated against based on their medical history at a various period in history, right? So we had like take for instance with people were dying then too. So here's the thing, right? When HIV was first came out, right? People were not wanting to hire people or firing people if they looked like they might have AIDS, if they were HIV positive, if anything that made them uncomfortable. Like people act out of fear and they just start firing people. So they put laws in place that said, okay, you don't have to disclose what your medical situation is. You don't have to disclose if you've been diagnosed with anything. You don't have to disclose what kind of vaccinations you have. But now we're at a place where all of those laws that are in place to protect us are being threatened. And instead of people like you guys standing up for those laws and for the people and for our freedoms and for our rights, you guys are just all falling in line and like, yeah, down with the unvaccinated people, fire all of them, don't let them go to the hospital, like rah. And it feels kind of like a witch hunt. He said, why should they go to the hospital? That's my point. It's a witch hunt.
You talk about 9/11. Let's say this.
Hold on.
The coronavirus affected the world. It didn't just affect America.
But America's also not the only one protesting. They're global protests. Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, because you went back to 9/11. That was America. That was just an attack on American ground, American soil. The laws were changed to protect Americans and to put things in place so they can request certain things. It's not violating your HIPAA right to actually ask if you're vaccinated, because you have to get the information. You have to show it to them. You have a choice to go get any of your medical records. That's what HIPAA put in place. But
you have to what? I didn't understand what you said.
You can go get your medical records at any point because they're yours. That's what HIPAA put in place. That's a HIPAA law.
Right.
So if I ask you as your employer, because we're serving people, we're taking care of other people, and we have other employees in this area, I want to make sure they're protected, then you need to show me a vaccination card. That's not a violation of your rights.
And when we use HIV,
it is,
something like that, I don't think you can compare that to this thing, this virus.
Yes, you can.
You can.
I'm not.
Look, if I hug somebody that's got HIV, I'm not gonna catch it.
I'm not comparing the deadliness of it or the death toll. I'm not comparing the contraction rate of it. What I'm comparing is the fact that right now we are in a state of panic where people are trying to mandate that other people get vaccinated so that their own fear can be alleviated. And that's the same thing that happened with the HIV and AIDS virus. Yes, it was. And a lot of people were being fired and hired just based on suspicion of being positive for HIV because they weren't sure at that time how it was spread, and they weren't sure how what the long-term side effects and harms for it were.
Hold on, Jaron.
Yeah, bro.
Just listen to the conversation. I'm assuming, I'm gonna ask you, are you vaccinated? I'm assuming that you're not.
No. Hell no.
Okay, so give me the reason, and we don't need, just give me a reason that you're, and again, not attacking, but I just want to know the reason that you're not. Because I asked everybody else the same thing.
It's not a vaccine.
Say it again.
It's not a vaccine. It does not cure. It does not kill. It does not eliminate. So
Okay.
I'm still going to get sick, regardless. If I took it or not, I'm still going to get sick.
Gotcha.
It's not no need for me to encourage it when I've been doing pretty good on fighting off the variants that I've had. I've been sick twice from it. I've built up a natural resistance as it goes along.
When you say you've been sick twice, you're saying that you had COVID twice? All of us been sick. I'm asking about COVID. Have you had COVID twice?
Medically diagnosed as COVID? No, but all of the symptoms, yes, because I knew what they were, as far as losing the sense of taste and smell, as far as the body fatigue, as far as not being able to having this. And I'm a smoker, so when the breathing issue happened, things sunk in even further. So I've been through the two.
So you've been sick, but you didn't get a test to see if you actually had COVID?
No, absolutely not.
And how many people did you come in contact with when you were sick?
None.
So you just stopped existing.
I applaud you on that the simple fact that you did not know if you had COVID or not, and you decided to quarantine yourself. I applaud you on that part. I applaud you on that part. Real talk. Chris,
let me just say this. It's just scary because people.
Bro, I can't hear you.
Everybody has opinions. Everybody throws their opinions around. Everybody has opinions. Is my mic on?
Yeah, it's on. Just talking to it.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody has opinions, and everybody throws their opinions around, and everybody gravitates to what they feel, and they find and educate themselves based on what they want to support, whether it's good or bad. But I think what we really, if you look at the factor of what are the real facts, what is in the vaccine? What does the vaccine protect you from? If I get it, like the doctor said he had COVID, which gave him natural immunity. So if you had COVID, then you get natural immunity. People that don't want to get COVID, then they go get the vaccine. People that choose not to get the vaccine, then they're leaving themselves open to get COVID.
Getting the vaccine does not mean you're not going to get COVID, bro.
No, we're not saying.
We know. Ask a cop. Just
wait.
recovered
We're
from
not
it.
saying that it does not keep you from getting COVID. But what we're saying is, just like your choice is to stay at home and not get it, even though you still got it, some people are deciding to get the vaccine because of things that they've read. Real talk. And not downing your choice. Really, I just always wanted to know the reasons. I want to know the reasons why people got the vaccine. I want to know the reasons why people won't get it. That's all I'm saying.
So, bro, but you said that people are getting the vaccine because of information. They're scared of getting COVID, so they're getting the vaccine. But that's the fear. They buy into the fear. My thing is, do y'all know of all the bad stuff that's in the vaccine?
But now you're saying it's a fear, so you're not getting the vaccine because you have a fear that it's not a vaccine, correct?
No, I'm not. No.
Wait. You can't say that I'm not going to get the vaccine because it's not a vaccine. You don't know for a fact that it's not a vaccine. Bro. That's a fear. That's an emotion.
No, you're wrong, bro. I know for a fact that it's not a vaccine. And you know for a fact that it's not a vaccine also. What is the definition of a vaccine? It cures, kills, or eliminates. It does none of the three. So it does not fit that
I ain't
definition.
had it, and I got the vaccine. So my fat,
He just recovered.
my fat could be in my mind that it is a vaccine. I mean,
Well, let's say this.
Yeah.
A vaccine does not prevent you from getting.
No, we have a person on our panel who just recovered from COVID and is vaccinated and was vaccinated at the time he contracted it. So we have living proof.
and he did. Did he go? Now I know because when I got the vaccine, I had the same symptoms that he had. Those chills he was talking about.
Did you get tested?
I get it.
Yeah, I got tested.
And you tested positive for COVID after being vaccinated, and you suffered significantly.
I mean, it's no different than
But,
somebody
I
that
mean,
catches COVID and didn't catch it for the
From what
second
I've
time.
heard,
We
and
know
I
that that
people
happens
that
also.
had actual COVID and weren't
Right.
vaccinated,
See,
it wasn't
all
as
I'm
severe.
saying-
But let's
I'll
clear
wait.
this up because you say it's not a vaccine, and that's not accurate.
Yes,
Because of the
it
fact-
is.
Because of
How
the
is it
fact
not
that,
accurate?
let's say this because how many of us had chickenpox?
Please tell me how it's not accurate. Give me the
How many had
definition.
chickenpox? Hold on,
What is your
let me ask-
definition of
let
the
me ask-
vaccine?
hold on.
Wait.
Let me- How many of us had chickenpox?
I had
Taking
it.
vaccines as kids to prevent us from having chickenpox, and we still got it. You can take a flu
No,
shot.
you didn't.
You can take a
Yeah, he did. I got it.
When you went
If
to
you
school,
took the vaccine,
hold on. When you went to school,
if you took the vaccine,
hold on. When you went to school and they sent you to get your testing and get your shots before you went to school, they gave you a shot to prevent you from getting chickenpox, mumps,
No,
measles,
see,
and
not.
rubella.
You see, Tan, you
That's
gotta
what
see
that's
that.
what's in the vaccine. That does not mean that you won't get it. That means it won't kill you. When you
no, bro. Hey, bro, you did get chickenpox from the vaccine. There was cases of people catching the chickenpox from the vaccine. When in our younger generation, when we was going to school, we were trying to get a collar on it. So yes, there were still infections and breakthroughs, bro. But over the years, it's not that. Over the years, it's not that.
So
True or false?
you're saying that people got chickenpox from the chickenpox vaccine?
You're good.
I'm asking because I couldn't understand it.
What he's comparing this situation to with the smallpox, chickenpox, and mumps and measles, the ones you get to go to school, those things affected kids. And when you were going to school, in order for the public school, if you wanted to send your kids to public school, you had to get your kids vaccinated. It wasn't that it was mandated. You could have kept your kid out of school and told them at home and went to private school. But they didn't mandate this in order to cure chickenpox, measles, mumps, whooping cough, none of that. They didn't mandate it. They just said, hey, if you want to go to public school, the best way for us to treat these kids is for everybody to take these vaccines. So that's why we are all vaccinated involuntarily to these vaccines. And did they eliminate those diseases? Yes, they did over a period of time. It wasn't immediate, but they did over a period of time. I am not vaccinated simply because I do not want to get vaccinated. This is a 1% type virus. So like the doctor was telling you before, when you try to compare it to smallpox, smallpox wipes out 30% of the population. Corona is only going to hit 2% of the people that it infects. So if like all of y'all are in the room right now and somebody blew Corona in the room,
Less than 2%.
less than 2% of you are going to get it. And then out of
Less
that
than 2% are going to die. A larger number
No,
will get it.
hold on. No, that's not right.
No, he said 2%, and I said less than 2%.
Oh yeah, will die, but
Yeah,
less
will
than
die.
2% will infect it. Period. So you're saying that there's something that's very, very weak, and you're going to jump up and take a vaccine because there's a chance that you might get it. Do your global numbers, do your United States numbers, and they're all under 2%.
Test. Now, okay.
You want to argue numbers?
I have to ask you this too because I've asked everybody else. Have you lost a loved one to COVID?
Not that I know of.
Okay. That's
Have you?
becoming. Yes, I have. My uncle. I said it earlier.
Am I
See,
supposed
you ain't listening to nothing I'm saying up here.
I'm sorry. Every time you talk,
I'm
it's just...
talking.
No, I'm just kidding.
Are you supposed to have a different feeling because you lost a loved one from COVID?
A worldwide study
Wait,
details
hold on. I'ma come back to
2019 and 2021 deaths from COVID-19, 29 countries, multiple health institutions backed by data revealed that most deaths on the planet since World War II.
Bro, I sent you a list. I got the numbers. So you got a population of 7.4 billion people. You got a total of, I think 4.6 billion people died. I'm sorry, 4.6 million people died from the vaccine. We had a total of 225 million cases globally. 225 million, I think.
So Jaron, let me ask you this: is there anything, any situation, anything that can happen to make you say, you know what, I think I need to get the vaccine? That's a yes or no question. That's all.
No.
Okay.
Unc said the vaccines were designed to cure.
I can dig that.
The vaccines were never designed to cure. The vaccines are designed to prevent and post barriers to infections.
No, that's an resistant booster shot. That's an immune resistant shot, not a vaccine. Vaccine cures and kills. If that's an American medical doctor that's telling you that, that's his story. That's his line. That's what he's supposed to say.
Okay, so they named it wrong.
Yeah.
Vaccine kills. Immune system.
Smallpox.
He said the smallpox was the vaccine.
It killed.
Right. Polio is also a vaccine.
Polio was a vaccine?
Polio was a vaccine. Smallpox was a vaccine. There's
Do y'all know
there are
how
lots
bad
of
polio
vaccines
is?
out there, but this is not a vaccine by definition.
So your issue is not with the vaccine. Your issue is with the enforcement. Is that what you're saying?
My issue is with the enforcement.
Your issue is what?
Yeah, he said
the enforcement.
He said
enforcement. So both of y'all issue is the enforcement of the shot. You don't want to call it a vaccine.
So basically, there's nothing that can happen, no situation that can happen to make either one of you get the vaccine.
Did you take the flu shot? Have you ever taken the flu shot?
Yeah, I told you. Well, you know, I was looking at the show. I took the flu shot because I wanted some days off. I was in the military. The hell.
No,
honestly, that's why I did it.
After you heard Dr. Thomas give you the explanation of how they try to figure out the best way to give you a flu shot, an immune system booster, after you heard that, are you still going to say that they're coming up with these vaccines medically?
But they tell you about that. When you go take the flu shot, they tell you, the percentage of its effectiveness. It's not like they say, oh, it's 100%. So they tell you every year what the percentage.
All right, now
go ahead.
You're absolutely right. Now put those numbers in effect to what you're going through with the corona thing. Those same numbers that they predicted at the beginning of this pandemic. You remember those headlines?
Right.
Experts predict 600,000 deaths if we do nothing. We did a lot of something.
Now,
we still lost 600,000 people.
Yeah, but how many deaths have there been? I don't know the number, but I would imagine they've been reduced since the vaccine or the shot has come out. They say every day how the numbers have reduced based on the vaccine.
Bro, if you pay attention to the numbers and look at how the virus is reacting, and I revert back to the last time we had the conversation, this coronavirus is nothing more than the novel coronavirus that was called the cold back in 1989. It was the simple cold, the novel coronavirus. The reason in 1993, the CDC, the NIH, or the WHO, one of the three organizations, announced that they were going to stop trying to find a cure for the common cold. Okay? That was in 93. The reason that they stopped saying that, the reason they stayed for not finding a cure was because of the resilience of the virus to mutate and adapt to everything that it has done, everything it's tried to treat it with. If you follow the numbers and the pattern of this virus, it is doing the exact same thing. Every 3 months, I'm sorry, it'll spike up, it'll die down for 3 months, it'll come back up, and then there'll be another variant, and then there'll be another variant. It does it every 3 months. For the last 2 years, it's done it because the next variant is the Lambda variant.
My uncle just said the vaccines don't cure measles. They still exist. There's no cure for the measles. A vaccine prevented the spread. Which is no, he had said something about the measles.
That's not true. It still exists. Yes, it still exists. It's a copyright. It's a patented disease that the United States government has. So yes, it still exists, and it's not a prevalent problem in our society because we have eliminated it. So yes, it still exists on the planet because our government holds every freaking disease we know. They hold a patent.
So we wanted to ask the doctor this, but Haiti hung up. But this is a question I'll ask you two guys. You two, will humanity survive without vaccines? Will humanity survive without any vaccines?
Without any vaccine?
Yeah, without any vaccine, will humanity survive?
No, bro.
Yes, there's this idiom called
You believe that?
survival of the fittest.
Yes, that's true, Chrissy.
Survival of the fittest. That's
Yeah,
that's how humanity adapts and survives in the face of no vaccines. Humanity existed before vaccines. Vaccines haven't been here since the beginning of time. And since the beginning of time, there have been people getting viruses and diseases and using them as germ warfare. But even with the plague,
but what happened with that? What was
survival
created?
of the fittest.
What was created? No, what was created for all those things you just said?
Some people survived.
What was created? What was created for that?
What do you mean? What was created?
What was created for all those things you just said? People were dying and all this stuff. Then what was created?
More viruses.
Penicillin was brought about because of that.
So the vaccines weren't created
More
for it.
viruses.
They realized cholera and all that stuff was caused by sanitation. That's what caused
More viruses. That's what I'm saying. He's naming all the more viruses that was created as a.
I really believe it's all based on fear. People that's scared to take the shot. People that's scared to get corona take the shot. People that are afraid of the side effects of the shot don't take the shot. It's all based on fear.
Yeah, I think
that's the whole thing. What corona did was just brought a lot of anxiety and fear.
I agree with you, but the problem that I have is that the fear is pitting us against each other instead of bringing us together, and that for me is the greater issue, and why I'm taking the stance that I'm taking on it with regard to. Thank you, darling. With regard to how we're treating people regardless of their choice, because the fear is being used as a source of division and derision, and it's not necessary, regardless of if you're vaccinated or
You're
you're
calling
not.
it fear. They're calling it a solution.
So let me ask
It's
you
not a
this.
solution if you still gonna get it.
Let me ask you this.
It's not a matter of getting it again. It's a matter of being able to fight it off if you get it.
I can fight it off. Okay,
Everybody
hold on.
everybody can't fight it off.
Hold on. 39. Hold on. 39 million people. 39 million people statistically in the United States got coronavirus, right? 600,000 people died, right? That means 38,400,000 people were able to fight it off and survive. So for you to say not everybody can, I mean, statistically, the vast majority of us can fight it off and survive.
They also have effects that are lasting, and it changed their lives in a lot of variety of ways.
Yeah, that's what happens when you don't take care of yourself. So a lot of people who got vaccinated have still had the virus, have still had lasting effects, have still died. The same percentages, pretty much.
No, it's not the same.
It's pretty much
now
the
you're
same
just making up
percentages.
stuff. No, it's not the
I'm
same.
not making up stuff. 1% of vaccinated people are also dying from COVID.
All right, let's say this.
Yes, it is.
Mike had the vaccine and he had COVID after.
Right.
Did you say you feel that because you took the vaccine, it didn't have the long-term or lasting effects that it might have had you not had the vaccine?
He still has effects from it.
I know people that weren't vaccinated that got it, and my family. I know people in my family that got it, and they were a hell of a lot worse off than me. So, like I said, I mean, it felt me. I mean, I'm a pussy when it comes to getting sick. So when I got those chills and the fever, I was like, oh God, I'm dying. But other people have lasting effects. Like some people don't even get their full lung capacity back. So that can fully impact.
Do you have your full lung capacity back?
Oh yeah, I'm back running, but it's not building back up.
But are you the same as you were before?
Yeah, I can still feel my lungs. I just got to get back in shape.
But if you can feel your lungs, then you're not 100%, right?
But it just
So you have a lasting effect.
I know
right?
90% of people that I know that had that had corona, 90% of them said they wish they would have got vaccinated. 90% of them. There's been a very few of them that said I still would do, but majority are saying
90% of the people I know that got it saved, even though they suffered significantly.
Yeah, got a woman the other day, never got a chance
wouldn't
to hold
get
her child
vaccinated.
because she was unvaccinated. Never got a chance to hold her baby, and then she dies, and never got a chance to hold her child.
Hey, that's why.
But that's
what
my
happens.
point. Everybody has a different experience. I know lots of people who've
But
gotten
she's
it,
dead, and she never even
they
got a chance to hold her
also-
child.
I know people
Wow.
who got it and were vaccinated and died. I'm not
You
saying
know
they
them?
had a child.
You know somebody?
I know someone
That was
personally
that was
vaccinated,
caught
got
COVID,
sick,
and
caught
died.
COVID, and died. Yes,
Miss Christie, because you say
There's
recently.
tons of stories of people dying, man, and that's what's gonna happen.
Miss Christie, you say people that are vaccinated attack people that aren't vaccinated, but you kind of attacking people that are vaccinated.
I was going to
In
say
this
that.
scenario.
I was going to save that.
How
to
did I
to the
attack?
end.
Who did I
I mean,
attack?
just your position, the way that you state your opinion. So
By asking you not to fire people for not being vaccinated, you feel
No,
attacked.
Not. I mean, that's their choice. I mean, you can't tell people how to run their company. You can't tell people how to run their business.
We're talking about.
Ask
We're
the
not
M-
talking
ask the
about on the
NBA.
business level. I'm talking about from a
NBA
government
NBA coming down
perspective
hard on these jokers.
to mandate that
They're
people
about to lose $1 million.
But I'm saying to make that mandate, just because I suggest that mandate not be made is not an attack on vaccinated people.
Are they mandating it out of malicious intent? Are they mandating
Yes.
that you take it because they
A fear.
But
It's the same fear for people that not taking it.
Okay, yeah. So you're saying that you don't have a fear about any of this by not. Now you said earlier that. Wait, let me ask you this because I never really got a clear answer from you. What's your clear answer of not taking the vaccine?
As far as what?
Why won't you take the vaccine?
Why?
Just an answer.
There's no need to take the vaccine.
Take the vaccine. I feel healthy and well, and I don't feel like the vaccine is going to in any way benefit me. So, and I feel like the potential for negative side effects is greater than the potential for positive side effects.
So would you
It's
wait?
I said what is 1%?
Would you call that a fear?
No, I call
Of the
that
negative?
a choice.
No, of the negatives part of it.
What do you mean?
Of saying that that you're going to have negative effects. Is that a fear that you don't want to have those negative effects of the vaccine?
No, it's an acknowledgement that there haven't been enough tests and studies done in order for people to honestly just make a choice.
Not people. I'm trying to figure out because I know
For
you're saying
me?
that it's a fear.
I
but yet
don't
you're
take
still-
medicine, period. So, I mean, it's not, I don't get
Well-
a flu shot. I don't
Well,
get a tetanus shot. I
I'm
don't
try-
take
I'm try-
medicine.
I'm trying-
So,
I'm trying-
I don't believe in putting
you have that
things-
benefit right now.
I don't believe in putting things in my body.
But
that
Jaron,
I
you've
haven't- I
had
don't-
you've had surgery, right?
Yeah, bro.
You've had surgery, right?
Yeah, bro.
And you trusted the doctors.
Yeah, bro.
So what's the difference?
You use anesthesia?
What do you mean? What is the difference?
You trusted the doctors. You trusted they were going to do what they said they were going to do. Did you have all the knowledge of the anesthesia that was going to be put in you? Did you research the anesthesia?
I actually did. I even had dinner with him before the surgery.
You had what?
I had dinner with the anesthesiologist before the surgery. I talked about the ones that he gave me.
Yeah, he's special.
But end of the day, you trusted what they
I'm not
said.
special. I just know my rights. So I'm not
But
special.
I'm saying
I know my
you
rights.
trusted what they said.
I trusted what they said because I did the research on the anesthesiologist, on the drug that he was going to put me under with. I did my research on the doctor who did my surgery, who was the best in the state of Minnesota. I did the research on the hospital in which I went to. So it wasn't me just trusting the doctor. I trusted the procedure because I knew what I was stepping into. I have no idea what the vaccine is. I don't take any medicine from a doctor unless I know what it is in the first place. And if I don't like it, I'm gonna tell the doctor to go fuck himself. I'm not going. I don't understand.
I won't.
Where you have a choice. It's a medical choice. I go to when I go to the pharmaceutical doctors, they're automatically underneath the cloud. They're black darkening automatically.
Yeah,
So what-
and I give him that. His reason is he doesn't know what's in the vaccine, so that's why he's not messing with it.
But they tell you what's in the vaccine. You can look it up. You can research what's in it.
I'm allergic to it.
Will wants to know.
And that's a good answer. Now you finally gave me a
Will
good
wants
answer.
to know. Will wants to know, Jaron, if you catch COVID, and I pray you don't, but if you happen to catch it, will you go to the hospital?
I doubt it. And here is why, and I'll be glad to explain that with you. I happen to live right across the street from the COVID testing center here in Minneapolis that they do it 24/7 at. And then the hospital, for me, is 3 blocks away. When you go to the hospital, if you don't have anything that requires treatment, they're going to send you home until you do. So they're going to give you some medications and send you home, and then they're going to tell you to isolate yourself. And if you get worse, then come in. And then we got to find out whether or not we have a bed for you. So, no, bro, I don't go to the hospital. I do exactly what Chrissy was saying. I treat myself with the same medicine that they're going to give you. They're going to give you B12. They're going to give you the vitamin C. They're going to give you zinc. They're going to give you all these things for you to take to deal with it at home before you come back to be a patient. So yeah, if I got it to where it was a point to like I can't breathe and I need help, I would go to the hospital. And when I get to the hospital, I would probably become a patient at that point in time. But until then, I would treat myself at home as if I had the flu. I would treat myself at home. I don't see the difference, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. He said, that he was sick 2 times. He didn't get tested, but he stayed home and he quarantined himself. Like I said, I applaud him for that.
I lost you now. I can't hear nobody.
It's Will talking in the background. We'll repeat it. Go ahead. He said there's people that are filling up beds that feel like you feel, but they're filling up hospital beds.
I know where you're going.
And they're not vaccinated.
So
Personal choice.
no, bro. I hear you what you're saying about this filling up the bed stuff, man. Again, man, I live across the street from another one. This filling up the bed thing is getting really blown out of proportion, especially if a whole $300 million hospital only has 10 ICU beds. That doesn't really make sense. I mean, China built a whole hospital to handle their problems.
Okay.
It's not like these hospital beds are.
Up on it.
Let's stay focused.
Yeah,
That's a deviation. Let me say this. You cannot say that we don't have an issue. You can't even begin to. I don't see how you can sit there and cheapen that because we hear it all the time. All I'm saying is, if you're going, I applaud you for being completely holistic. Okay, like you said, you're not going to the hospital. You get sick. You will remedy this situation at home. I applaud you. That is your choice. I'm saying that there are people that are not doing that. So they kind of half and half. Now, I believe, like you talk about fear, that is fear. You don't have fear. And the reason why I say that is because you're going all the way. You believe in your method, and you're taking it all the way to the end. There are people out here that are not doing that. They're half in, half out. Okay? I, on the other hand, when I get sick, I want to go to the hospital. Now, I can't go to the hospital because there are people that are half in, half out. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They're not committed to either one. I'm saying if you're going to do this, be committed. Commit to the whole thing. Because now if you don't do that, guess what? You're infringing on my benefit, my rights now.
Nobody's infringing on your benefits.
Check, stop. You cannot sit there and tell me that you're not infringing on my right.
Not.
Because if I'm infringing, I don't see how I'm infringing on your right. Okay, but so therefore I'm telling you, I'm sitting
personally
here, the
are
fact
not.
that I can't go to the hospital, I have a right to go to the hospital.
Right, nobody's stopping you.
Yes, they are. When I go to the hospital and it's not COVID, they don't have enough beds for me to go in there. That cannot be
That's
disputed.
not true, bro.
What do you mean it's not true? Where does that come from?
Did you go to the hospital and get turned away?
Let me finish with
Did
this
that
person.
happen
Let
to
me
you?
finish with this person. How can you sit there and say that it's not true with no foundation? I mean, I have plenty of information that says that it is true. So why should I believe where you're coming from with that? I really want to know.
Did it happen to you?
Not
Okay,
you.
okay, so let me start. Bro. I'll be glad to too. Again, I live 3 blocks away from the hospital that I do go to. I did have surgery recently. I go through physical therapy every day. I also have 3 lower back disc. I got degenerative disc disease. So I go to the chiropractor in the same hospital every week. We do not have a crowding problem in our hospital. The ICU beds might be full, but the hospital is not. The
Okay,
ICU,
so you're basing it,
sir.
sir. You're basing it on your sole opinion in your sole area where you are, right? That's your span of the statistical basis with which you're proving your point. If your world,
no, bro.
But then if that's the case, do not use that in this debate that we're having.
Jaron, what he's saying is in Minnesota that may be the case, but what he's saying is that here in Atlanta,
it's also the
and
case.
again, I haven't had to go to the hospital, but I have heard, friends say that, their aunt or whatever came down with COVID and they could not go to the hospital because of, it was full or whatever. And again, I don't know for a fact.
Did you have trouble getting in the hospital?
I didn't know for a fact, but that's just what I've heard. And that's all. That's where he's coming from with it.
Wait, they let you in, right?
So let me address it like this.
They let you in, right?
I'm speaking
it wasn't
in
full,
West
right?
Minnesota because that's where I live. But my
But it
job
wasn't
for my
full, right?
family,
Hold on. Go ahead, Jaron.
my job for my family is I'm the caretaker for my family. So I travel. I just left South Carolina where my mother died at, and I was taking care of her for cancer. I just left out of Macon, Georgia 2 months ago, where I got an aunt down there that had back surgery. I've been in and out of several hospitals in your area. I got another aunt that's in Iowa that my uncle's taking care of right now, but I'm going to go back and take care of her in another 3 months. I travel this stuff a lot, bro, and I'm seeing the medical things from different views. I know what you're going through in Atlanta somewhere, but I know the doctor that was just on here before, Dr. Thompson, said that he's not experiencing crowded hospitals where they're at. I can tell you several other major metropolis areas that are not experiencing overcrowdedness. All I'm saying is go ahead.
I agree. Let's say I go ahead and agree with you, okay? My point is this. Why are they in the hospital? Why don't they go, if they want to solve the issue of COVID without the vaccine, then go all the way with it. Why should the hospitals be held responsible for serving those people that are not following the protocol that they are suggesting to do? Now, is that infringing on whose rights?
Hold on, bro. Hold on. I got you. Okay, so let's go back to 2017. Let's go back to 2017 when you had 69 million flu cases and you had 449,000 deaths. Was those people who had those 40 There's 49,000 deaths. Were they not allowed to go to the hospital because they did not want to take the flu shot?
My point is the choice that people make when it becomes a situation where it infringes on others' rights to be able to exercise their right, just like you're exercising your right, and it's clearly being mandated or understood that this is a reason why we're overflood, whatever, should those people be still held accountable or able to go into the hospital over someone that followed the protocol? Like I said, I applaud you because you going all the way with it.
And again, you're coming from a public servitude point. You're talking about a hospital that's supposed to serve the public. They're not supposed to turn anybody away. Now, you're talking about a private hospital, completely different story. They can say, hey, we don't want to deal with these people. But a public service facility cannot deny people their service because they have a right just like you have a right. I don't have to take, how about this? In the South, like I say, the Southern diet is nothing but high blood pressure, diabetes, smothered and gas. All they do is promote the Southern diet. They don't tell you the side effects of living that way. None of that stuff. But you make that choice, and they market it, and they make you want to do it. They make you want to get your biscuits and gravy. They make you want to get your pork chops. They make you want to get everything because it's advertised, and you make the choice, and you're hypnotized to do it. That's a drug. But then there's some people who make a decision and say, hey, I don't want to eat that shit, and I want to eat a different way. And, like I live a whole lot different. But the ones who choose to be obese and have the high blood pressure and the diabetes and the gout, they followed the program. They didn't make a better decision to live better, but now they're clogging up the hospital. But I made a better decision to live better, and I can't get simple check for whatever, because the hospital's clogged up with people who didn't want to follow a healthy diet. Is that about the same?
I think that's a very valid point. I think a lot of people, man, because of the food they eat, their personal choices and how they live their life, they do put themselves in a lot of risk. But I think COVID specifically is an external factor that people don't know how to get it, how to protect themselves from it. Then they also make choices based on.
Bro, it's a cold. Stop yourself from catching the cold.
I'm sorry?
Stop yourself from catching the cold. It's no different, bro. I don't know. It's like y'all are asking for a magic analytical answer. You have a weaponized thing that has been released on the humans, on mankind, society, whatever you want to look at it. But it's really just a cold on steroids, bro. It's steroids.
I got a question. Have y'all heard like the mark of the beast?
Sure.
Have you heard that?
Sure. That's one of the first things that came out.
Have you heard what?
He was talking about the mark of the beast. Yeah, I mean
The vaccine?
that's one of the many conspiracy theories. Sure.
You talking about the vaccine?
Kyrie.
I don't know if Kyrie said that, but I've heard that several times.
Yeah.
That's a mark of the beast. The vaccine is the mark of the beast.
Jaron, you just stated a statistic about the flu virus in 2017 and the number of deaths. How does that compare with the number of flu deaths for 2019 and 2020? And do you think there's a correlation?
I can tell you now.
There isn't no documented numbers for 2020 and 2021 for the flu. As a matter of fact, they stopped the count at the flu for 2019 very, very short, I believe. The point that I was really trying to get here, though, man, is you have a very weak virus. It is not as strong as y'all are acting. It's like, oh man, a weak football team playing against a strong football team. Like you can't put a sorry team against a great team and expect that sorry team to do any good. You understand that this virus is a little bit stronger than the flu.
Wow.
But it's still a part of the weaker virus cells. Like it's in a low class, and y'all are treating it, and we, the world, are treating it as if it's the major
You gonna read
killer.
that real quick? Yeah. Let's read this. Read these stats real
right.
quick, JT.
Let me read these stats real quick.
Since y'all like stats.
We was talking about the deaths between vaccinated and non-vaccinated. All right. So fully vaccinated people.
Hold on, bro. Can you state your source?
Say it again.
Your source.
The source.
Yeah.
Hold on. What is it? Wait a minute.
Because the source I say, the source I use, I sent in a text.
Yeah, I got the one. I got the one that you sent, but yours had nothing about vaccinated versus
Mine is
non-vaccinated.
every day.
I didn't see that on your link.
Because they don't fall for the bullshit.
This one is abc.net news. And again, I just pulled it up. I just pulled it up. Hey. I just pulled it up on the phone, bro. That's all. I'm not championing for nobody. I just Googled it and it came up. That's what most of us do. Honestly, that's what most. That's what.
Make a better selection and then you choose to get the source from. If you go down, I'm sure you're going to see something there on this a better source than ABC News.
Okay, well, fully vaccinated, ICU percentage is 1.9. The deaths are 11.7 percentage. Partially vaccinated, the percentage is in ICU is 15%. Deaths is 19.4%.
19% of the people in ICU.
15% of the people are in ICU. 19.4% of people actually die.
19.4 of the people that go to ICU, though, not 19.4%.
Partially vaccinated.
Partially
vaccinated.
I'm trying to make a distinction here. Are we talking about 19% of the people that contracted, or 19% of the people that end up in ICU are dying?
Those are ICU stats. So it's like,
Yeah, it probably contracted. I mean, I'm just reading this stuff right now.
Well, I mean,
it says proportion of patients in ICU is what it says.
People that are not hold on. Test. Here we go.
There you go.
People that have no vaccination at all, 63.1% go to ICU. 63.9% actually die. Not stated, 19.9% is in ICU, 5% is on deaths.
Wait.
And this
So
is
you're
from
saying
ABC
61?
News.
Hold on. You're trying to say 61% of the people that get COVID
in ICU
die.
63%.
I want to
very
read what
unclear.
you read.
I'm not clear on what you're saying.
Even though you're reading it right off of Google, but you're not making sense.
Right.
Yeah, man. I told you it's special, man.
No, I'm
Deep in
agreeing
it.
with, like, it's not
Deep
making
in it.
sense. You're saying
All right. Okay.
61% actually die, but if you were to actually look at the numbers, there's no way that 600,000 is 61% of the 39
Your
million
600,000 is
people
based
that
on a total number. We're talking about since the vaccinated people in ICU.
got it. So you're talking about
You
the
can't
numbers.
You can't really use the numbers prior
So
to
you're saying
vaccination.
the percentage of people that get, the percentage of people that end up in ICU that die. That's what you're saying.
That's what he's saying.
Okay.
And this is since the vaccine. This is not before. This is not the total number.
Oh no, I agree with you that
Total number.
because I think ICU is killing people left and right.
The ICU is killing them.
So ICU
believe,
ICU is killing them
hold
now.
on. I'm not saying ICU.
Oh,
let
yeah,
me rephrase that. The
Please,
protocol being used on people once they end up in ICU is deadly, in my opinion.
So my thing
Look
is,
up-
if they end
Now
up
you're
in,
anti-hospital too, right?
so, yeah, she's all that. But again, it's this. I mean,
Let that shit mutate about 8 times. A lot
okay,
of these,
yeah, I'm just saying.
gonna change their
I
opinion.
just pulled it up because we was talking about vaccinated versus non-vaccinated, so I just pulled it up.
But those are
Fully
ICU statistics. Those
fully
aren't-
vaccinated numbers are lower. That's all I'm saying.
Hey,
I'm
listen.
not trying to force it. I'm just reading the stats. Just
yeah.
like y'all been throwing out 1%, less than 2%. I just
But
threw out some
we're talking
stats.
about based on the number of people who get it. Period. You're talking about the number based on the number of people
I'm talking
who
about
end up in
vaccinated.
ICU.
But we're talking about,
I'm talking about-
the whole point of the
Hold
conversation
on.
is vaccinated
Hold
versus
on, hold on.
non-vaccinated.
Right. That's
And
it.
statistically, because the vaccine hasn't been around as long, it hasn't even been time for the statistics to catch up.
I don't care if it's been one day. There's still a statistic. I don't care what
Exactly.
you cannot
That's
say
why
that.
it's possible to lie with statistics.
All right, listen.
Right.
It's almost 11:30. We're gonna. Yeah, we got wrap. We got.
She believe in nuts and berries and juices and holistic.
And let's pray that's the case. You know what I mean?
Yes,
But
juice.
Noni juice.
Eat. Noni juice, yoni juice.
Look,
I mean, the one thing I agree on
I guess I'm gonna
is
die
that people
tomorrow.
have to
I'm
do
drinking
better
liquor.
at taking care of themselves. You need to take some
Move,
things. You need to
get
take
some sunlight.
vitamins and all that good stuff. But other than that, it's a choice. Yeah, at the end of the
Sunlight
day,
and
it's a
oxygen.
choice.
Facts, that's what it is. It's a choice.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
how is this virus spreading in the way that it's spreading in the manner that it's and having such an effect? If it doesn't live on surfaces, it doesn't live outside of the body, it can't survive in UV in the sunlight. How is it traveling in the manner it's traveling?
It's airborne. What do you mean?
Keep your ass out the hospital.
It's not airborne, bro. It's aerosol. That means it's still lighter than air. That means it can only go no further than 6 feet. Then it's going to fall on the ground and then it dies. So it's not airborne. Don't confuse airborne and aerosol as the same because they're not the same. Aerosol dies. It goes on the ground. When it's airborne, it stays in the air. It curls on the current. It can go from Minnesota to Georgia.
Okay,
but if
so
it's an aerosol,
it's airborne.
It's not going to
It's
go
aerosol.
past.
It's not airborne.
So if you have it and then you talk to me, it's aerosol gonna spring on you.
So, because it falls on the ground long as you 6 feet apart. That's what y'all
No,
saying.
yes, that's the
Okay.
the theory is the aerosol means that it's a spray.
And it stays out.
Airborne means it just floats in the air, like it's
lives
on
in
the
the air.
wind.
It'll live
Yeah.
in the air.
So, Jaron, you say it's airborne or
He's saying
aerosol?
aerosol. Is what
It
he's
is
saying.
aerosol.
Aerosol. And aerosol falls to the ground. That's what y'all saying, right?
No,
No
aerosol
more
is a
than-
spray. So if the spray hits you,
gotta
then
take
you
Somebody
can contract
speaking and
it.
spitting out
Exactly.
That's why they say cover your nose and your mouth. You can, I mean, you can still get in your
in
eyes.
your eyes.
Right.
However,
Right.
if it was airborne, you
this
wouldn't
is
have
an
any
aerosol.
reprieve.
No
from it.
protection. There'll be no protection if it's airborne.
Right, because it
Right.
spreads
We
in
about
droplets.
to
So
just
once
So it's aerosol. Am I?
it's an aerosol, it's not
Aerosol.
airborne.
It's
So how
aerosol.
is it-
Right.
how
We'll
is
go.
it
We'll go.
traveling in the manner it's traveling?
You're right. You're right.
So it lives in you. If you speak, and then it can be passed.
It can spray. It can spray out.
on you.
Right.
And I don't
put-
understand why that matters any less.
So put your hand over your mouth.
Bottom line is, it goes through the air. It can be contracted from someone else. Do we all agree that this virus is not going anywhere?
Can
Yes
we-
or no?
Absolutely.
What do you mean?
It's not
Is it,
going
is,
nowhere.
is it not going anywhere? It's permanent. It's here to stay.
And as much as every other
That's
virus
it.
is here to
So it's here to
stay.
Yes or no?
Right. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Here to stay, MJ.
Here to stay.
Here to stay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna go to our top 5. We ran over big time tonight.
Jaron, hey, bro.
He can stay tuned if you want to join in the
hey,
top 5.
Look, wait, hold on. Hey, I when I was calling you special, I wasn't calling you retarded or nothing like that. I was saying that you were special in the simple fact that you do a lot of research. So, again,
Yeah, he does a lot of research.
compliments to you, my guy. But stay here. We're going to do this top 5. We want you to be a
Thanks,
part
Jaron,
of it.
for coming back.
Yeah. You always come
No,
back to help Christy, Jaron. I'm
They
noticing that
tell me.
you like to back up Christy.
That was the only reason I came.
I mean, it's 6 on 1. This is a gangbang right here.
Wait, hold up. I've been cheated.
Hey, listen. Top 5. We're gonna get our top 5. We're gonna go straight into it. All right. Top 5 for the night. Top 5. since we're in October. Top 5 horror movies of all time. Top 5 horror movies of all time. Christy, you up.
The Shining.
Okay.
It. Scream.
Scream 1.
Yeah, Scream 1.
Or Scream 8.
Yeah, just Scream 1. I quit watching after 1.
The Shining, It, Scream.
What is that one? Child's Play. Is that the one with Chucky in there?
Chucky.
And then I don't know, like Freddy Krueger and Halloween are both right there, so I have to do 6. You're welcome.
Okay. All right, we'll go to the left. What you got, E?
I'm gonna say Halloween, Signing. Halloween, Signing. I can't think. What's the one with the I love it.
With the leopard, the leprechaun.
No, not Beloved. Yeah, the little guy with the white face with the red eyeballs.
Beetlejuice.
Saw.
Yeah, Saw.
No, I never.
Yeah, Saw.
Oh, wow.
Candyman.
The first one?
Candyman.
The original?
The original.
Okay.
Yeah. And let me give you one more. Oh, no, I just got 4. I can't think of another one.
That's okay. I gave you
Stuck
one.
on 4.
I got some comments to give.
MJ.
I'd have to go with Exorcist.
Yeah.
Omen 1 and 2. Children of the Corn.
Ooh.
Good one.
And probably Candyman.
Candyman. What you got, Will?
Night of the Living Dead, which is an old classic. Blackula.
What was that?
Blackula.
Blackula?
Blackula, y'all. Blackula.
Halloween. How many is that?
It's 3.
The Shining. 4. And Halloween is the guy that, that's Jason, right? Is Halloween and Jason the same?
Jason.
Friday the 3rd.
Jason
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
Okay.
What you got, Dwayne?
You could tell black people don't look at horror movies.
So hard.
All of them old.
I tell you, I'm scared. I was scared of it. Scared of it. Yes, the clown. Scared of clowns.
Folks who really had a clown phobia too, boy.
To this day, I ain't seen the new one.
Really?
Don't plan on seeing it. This is gonna be a different one. Misery.
Okay. Pull that one out the hat. All right.
That was real.
Pet Cemetery, the original one. I was scared to death of that. I thought my dog was coming back. Poltergeist, I was scared of Poltergeist.
Good one.
I thought something was coming out the TV at all times. You know, especially back in the day, then the TV went off. Yeah, so. And then last but not least, scary movie. I got Deep Blue Sea, man.
Deep Blue Sea.
when that shark ate Samuel L. Jackson, that was the scariest thing on. I ain't never seen nothing that scary. 'Cause he was talking. We need to get together and band together and kill the.
He came up and took him from the top.
You got 5, Jaron?
No, not really, bro. That's not my game. Why not entertain?
All right, what you got, JT?
Poltergeist, Friday the 13th. Candyman. Have y'all seen the original Candyman recently?
Yeah.
It is horrible to watch right now.
Yeah, I actually watched it before I went to the other one.
It is horrible
Just
to watch.
refresh myself.
I mean, it was really but it was a bad movie now that we look at it now. Yeah.
It was a bad movie then.
Yeah. I got 3. The Shining. But my number one, man, and people don't seem to remember this one. It was called It's Alive.
It's Alive.
It's about a baby.
Yeah.
When that woman had that baby, and that baby came out killing everybody.
Right.
That one and Chucky. That one and Chucky is right there.
Right there.
Right there, number one for me.
All right.
It's Alive with Rosemary Beauty.
All right. My mom got Jason, Chucky, Halloween, Clown. I don't know. Oh, It, okay, and Saw.
Oh, Saw. I forgot about it. I just